Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news discussion and, of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works in the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Ian.
Hey, I'm Weird Rider.
Also joining me is Evgeni.
Hi, I'm Argent, and I went to a coffee shop today called Complimentary Coffee, and they have compliments on the cups they give you. This one says,
a moonbeam.
You were as pristine as a moonbeam.
That's vaguely relevant to the topic, almost.
What does that even mean?
It
sounds vaguely nice.
It
sounds vaguely nice. That's right.
Complimentary. It sounds nice until you think about it, and then it doesn't sound like anything at all.
No.
Well, because light is pristine and stuff.
Yes.
I do feel a bit bad for those baristas who have to stop and write out a compliment on every single cup.
I'm sure they have.
I think that's how you get compliments like this.
I think this is handwritten. I think it is printed on the mug.
Oh, that makes it easier.
Yes. Also joining us is Jessie.
Hi, I'm Lady Lameness.
And I have opinions on coffee mugs and compliments.
Yes.
And Shadesmar.
And Shadesmar, that's right. Author of the Shadesmar article on, or I guess Rosharan subastral at this stage.
Technically, the Rosharan subastral article.
Yes, that's right.
Because stupid Rosharans and their naming systems.
Yes. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Also joining us is Ian.
Hello, I'm Ian.
Hey!
Must be mixed up with Ian.
Yes, a little bit. And I am Chaos, and today we are talking about Shadesmar and Silverlight. This episode will have especially stuff from Isles of the Emberdark, so that's probably the important one to look at here for sure. We're going to talk about all sorts of Cosmere stuff about Shadesmar in the cognitive realm. And I think we're going to have one fact from the RPG books. Just wanted to let you know.
They're out now, so be prepared that we're going to start including stuff from them.
Yeah, there's not... Well, we'll have an episode talking about the RPG. Just stay tuned.
To be clear, we will start including stuff from the source books by default. If we ever want to talk about the adventures, such as Stonewalkers, we will probably just have explicit spoiler sections and warnings and things like that.
We expect people to consume adventures very slowly over many sessions and are not books in the same way. And I think we'll talk briefly about Elscholar, the one of the story deck things, and
very briefly.
So there you go.
In ways that do not spoil the plot of that story.
You will be perfectly fine, but in case you're wondering. Cool. So, Shadesmar is the Rosharan word for the cognitive realm, and that colloquial word got expanded. That's what they all call it now.
I don't have strong feelings on the subject. I think it's a cool word, and
it's a cool word
on them for recognizing that it doesn't matter where it comes from. A cool word is a cool word, and they should just use it.
So I do have strong feelings on this subject.
I imagine a few people do.
For a very long time.
Yes.
I would like to point out, as far as I can remember, the actual WOB that talks about this.
Yes.
It doesn't just say that they use the word Shadesmar. It says that other places have words for the cognitive realm. It just translates into the word Shadesmar as well. And then Silverlight decided to also use Shadesmar as their standard on top of that. So just to have everybody use it, even though it's already translating into this word already. And that's just confusing to start with. Just say that everyone uses it. Don't have this whole it translates from their native word for cognitive realm. Just say everyone uses the Silverlight standard. That would be so much easier. I say this because trying to write this into a paragraph that is intelligible to people was really difficult for the Rosharan subastral article. It was really hard to write this into something that made sense.
That's the main consideration, really. It was very hard to write the wiki article for this.
Yeah. It's like,
Welcome to the podcast where Coppermind editors complain about Coppermind things.
That's right.
because of like the whole thing is Shadesmar just means cognitive realm in some ancient Rosharan language. So if most people are using magical shenanigans to translate their language, it should be going straight to cognitive realm because that's what the word means. We shouldn't be having to stop off in an ancient Rosharan language.
I believe the translation happens on a meta level, not in-universe investiture-based magical translation, but Brandon Sanderson, the American best-selling author, choosing to not invent a term for the cognitive realm in every single language and instead using Shadesmar.
But like he
translation
doesn't need to do
means,
that.
though?
He can just say cognitive realm.
That sounds less cool than Shadesmar.
Is that what translation means? Like,
Yes, it does. Because like Brandon ascribes to the whole like Tolkien idea of like these books exist in translation from a language that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for how
I've heard it. I'm just that particular use of it seems weird to me, but okay.
Good. This is exactly where I wanted this episode to start. I definitely think it's Brandon thinks it sounds cool, so he's having everyone use it. And like once he has one word, he doesn't want to make it more confusing to readers. So like that's obviously the out of universe explanation.
like. And to be clear, I would be less annoyed about this if the spiritual and physical realms also got cool names.
That's true.
But it's just the cognitive realm. And I'm like, why?
Because the physical realm doesn't get a name because that's just the default world that we live in, and we don't name that world, just like we, Earthlings, don't name our physical realm. It is just the Cosmere, right? In fact, it has a name. It's the Cosmere.
But the Cosmere includes all three realms. So no.
Moving on, the spiritual realm doesn't get a name, the fancy name, because it is so unexplored and so foreign to many people that it just like no one bothered.
Technically, I do believe there is a word there is a wob about how like the spiritual realm does have a name and it just translates to like heaven in most languages. But Brendan doesn't give it to us.
That's personalized.
That's
in one of my books.
Oh, is it? That's one of yours.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty funny.
Yes. So I believe you are in fact citing the ancient magics to me, witch.
Very good. We love that. Well, and it's also that the spiritual realm's boring because it's just you just get flashbacks there.
It's make believe.
Yeah. Well, we had to start off strong with this one, guys.
Brandon has talked before about how in the future he may go towards using the more scientific name of cognitive realm. Personally, I think with the release of Emberdark being set in the future of the Cosmere and how much Shadesmar as a word has stuck and become widespread, I don't think that's still the case.
That wob is not the case.
But we can dream.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think it is possible that within scholarly circles, like within arcanist circles,
Sure.
they might use the more technical terms.
There's at least one arcanist that has
Who
distinct
is
opinions about this.
True.
there are multiple.
Multiple.
But we just don't get to see that, right? Because
Arcanists in world disagree.
Yes.
Much like they do out of world.
Just canonically in book is like, no. Cognitive realm, Shadesmar is dumb. Yes.
Get the seriality map out of my face. Let's talk semantics.
Very good. So, Evgeni, why don't you walk us through a bit of like the geography of Shadesmar? And we're going to go to all the places in Shadesmar. We'll talk about all the things that you'd want, maybe, probably, hopefully.
I would love to do that. So the way I think of Shadesmar is most of Shadesmar is made of the Emberdark, the unexplored regions of the cognitive realm where where the laws of the universe get funky, right? This is the region where radio gets unreliable, investiture, like communication itself gets unreliable. That's the region where when Shadesmar shifts and expands and contracts, stuff gets pushed around, right? So the default state of the cognitive realm, as I think of it, is the Emberdark. And the Emberdark is made of essentially the unsea, which is this... Dusk has a great way of describing that. He calls it the memory of water. So it's this endless ocean of almost nothingness, right? It is not nothing. It is the unsea. It is an ocean-like investiture. It's got to be investiture, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Substance. There's one point where in the book they make a reference to the unsea's essence. Nothing is capitalized, so essence can be an informal way of just describing the stuff that is the unsea. But that's what the Emberdark is, right? So the Emberdark is the regions of the cognitive realm that are unexplored and kind of more primordial. And then in those regions, it's essentially unsea all the way down, as far as we know, and nothing all the way up. So that's the baseline. The place of three infinities, Dusk says. So that's the baseline cognitive realm. Now, obviously, that's extremely boring. And where Shadesmar gets more interesting is where we have planets, and more specifically, where we have planets with sapient minds that are Cosmere aware. It's unclear to me whether...
No, it's they don't need to be Cosmere aware. It's like once they become Cosmere aware, things start shifting around and things get bigger. Yes.
So where there are planets, the essence of the unsea, the Emberdark, gains characteristics and attributes unique to the people kind of on the other side thinking their thoughts. That's how we get subastrals. Subastral is the term that describes a region of the cognitive realm that maps to a planet over in the physical. There is perhaps a debate to be had on whether Silverlight is subastral, because as far as we know, there's no world on the other side, but Silverlight does have certain features. But we'll talk about Silverlight.
It's actually called a subastral.
Oh, is it?
In the chapter about Silverlight, I believe it's actually called a subastral.
Okay, well, then perhaps there is no room for debate on that one.
There's no debate, in fact.
But so subastrals are, in a way, they are the planets of the cognitive realm, in the same that planets are the planets of the physical realm, right? And each one is unique. So for reasons unknown, the Rosharan subastral is full of glass beads. The Scadrian subastral is full of mist, because mist is kind of a big deal. The Nalthian subastral is full of colors, because colors are a big deal, and stuff like that. So that's the baseline cognitive realm is the unsea, the Emberdark, and then there are these islands in the Emberdark, which are the subastrals of the cognitive realm. Well, how do we get from one to the other? There are corridors. As people kind of think about other worlds, I guess, and traverse them, these obsidian corridors form between worlds. They are kind of a glassy, featureless, No nonsense kind of obsidian. It's just road that people use to walk around.
Yeah, the way I kind of see that is like obviously like the subastrals like float around in the unsea, but like they kind of like this featureless obsidian like kind of like encrusts around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And over time, like that encrusting, like as like the subastrals are kind of like a stabilizing effect on the unsea. Like though, like and as people like traveled, but specifically in the cognitive realm, it's like it solidified into these roads between them.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. Another way I think about this is that you need, or you just get, kind of a transitionary space between the primordial unsea and the kind of fully formed, let's say, mists of the Scadrian subastral.
Yeah.
And so you don't transition directly from unsea to mists. You kind of go unsea, blank, obsidian, and then mists.
Though I guess with Drominad it did look pretty seamless. So that's a weird one, but we'll talk about that.
Is a weird one, yes.
Yeah. Like Drominad, it makes sense because like its primary feature is unsea-like essence.
Yeah. So in a way it does transition, right? But it just transitions into something that is almost the same.
Yeah. One general cognitive realmy thing is that like the physical realm is obviously like 3-dimensional, but the cognitive realm is like this 2-dimensional almost like representation, like projection of the physical, but where the important stuff is what people are thinking about. So like it's not 1-to-1. The interstellar space is massively contracted because people are not thinking there, and that's how you can get to other worlds just by walking there. But the 2D representation is interesting.
Yeah, not just like people aren't thinking there, though that is a significant portion of it. It's also people are bad at conceptualizing distances.
Yeah, that is
like,
very true.
They do touch on that, like as like the Cosmere has become more space aware, it's like things are stretching even more. But it's like it's never going to get to a problematic point because like you just can't think in terms of those distances.
Yeah. And then of course on subastrals there's this interesting aspect of where that transition between the subastral and unsea is that solid, but what we see most often in like place like Rosharan is that land is water, air quotes, right? And it's land and sea are like inverted, right? And so that's a feature of some but not all places, like Drominad is its own thing. So that is not every subastral has that inversion. Can I complain about the word Emberdark briefly?
I mean, it has been about 10 minutes since the last complaint, so...
So, if you are unaware, everyone, and so I guess I'll go over to...
map mode.
We'll go over to map mode. I would just like to share the map of the Sea of Lost Lights, or a portion of the Sea of Lost Lights, which is, Eastern Rosharan. Emberdark is just a city there. Just chilling there. Notably, in a subastral, definitely not at the edge of the subastral or near unsea. Just, that's a fact. I don't know why the word Emberdark, other than it sounds cool, is the name for the unexplored reasons. That's weird to me.
I don't know.
Yeah. I firmly believe Brandon or someone named this city on the map for Oathbringer.
Yeah, Oathbringer. Yep.
And then Brandon came up with the term Emberdark for the Emberdark, and then had a mini panic attack of like, oh no, I've already used this term. And then said, I don't care, I'm using it again.
I do like to think that the whole reason that it's specified in the in Emberdark that the word is a Rosharan word, is because it comes from the map.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I imagine Brandon figured that if he doesn't address this in any capacity, people will just not stop asking him about it, and so he might as well just put it in the book.
True.
Well, that undoes my theory about it. My thought was like, well, there's lots of places named after other places in the real world, so maybe Emberdark, the city, is just named after the Emberdark. But no, that apparently not so.
Literally, when I was having this rant and I was saying that was exactly my thought. But then it's like, oh yeah, no, but that's just straight up not what it says in the book. So great.
Yeah, nope.
Unfortunately, it's the other way around, apparently.
Cool. Good.
Sure, makes sense.
It makes no sense, but I like Ian's theory, personally.
Yeah, it's like if Brandon, like, I agree, he probably put that comment in there to avoid questions. I feel like it just invites more questions because, Brandon, this doesn't really, the answer you gave doesn't really make sense. So people are going to ask you.
He just thought it sounded cool. 100%.
Yeah, no problem for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's irritating, but that's fine. Subastral, great word. I love the word subastral.
Such a good word.
We like subastral on this channel. There was some debate historically about whether subastral refers to the Shadesmar region corresponding to a star system, because astral, or whether it corresponds to the region mapping to a planet. I think Isles of the Emberdark is kind of unambiguously saying, hey, this is about planets. And so, for example, the Ashenite subastral would be different from the glassy beads of Roshar.
Eric's face.
I guess it's unclear to me. I think there's room for the Drominad system to have its subastral or whatever being that not unsea, right? Because it's not exactly unsea, right? It just looks.
But I think that would have to depend on how the people on the other planets in that system think about. So, like, for example, if the other planets were not dominated by oceans, then so like you can fully have 4 planets in the same star system think similar thoughts and therefore project similar subastrals, but that would be a coincidence, not a rule.
I just think it's unclear where Dakwara Island is in relation to the there's room because the Drominad system has other thinking planets, and so it's unclear what that means.
Yeah,
right?
I think in this situation for the Drominad system, all of the inhabited planets do have a consistent theme. I don't think that is necessarily every other multi-planetary system are necessarily beholden to that. Like we can have our cake and eat it too. It can happen both ways.
Like with the inversion, really, like it could just be different for sure. I do want to see what Ashen.
I do wonder.
Go ahead.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Hey.
Like I would love to know.
I don't think it's a happy place.
What Ashen and what Braze's subastral look like, because I think that they're both different from Roshar's.
Yeah,
I think both of them suck.
I think both of them suck as well.
And I don't think either of them have the beats, is the thing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect so.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that barrier storm and Braze, but hey. So, do we just want to go through the known subastrals and talk about them? We're already on Roshar's topic.
Before we do that, there is a couple of other general Shadesmar geography items that I want to bring up.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
One of them is the existence of the Grand Knell, which is a bit like a North Star.
Yes.
It is the site of Ambition's death, the sites of Ambition's.
Grand disturbance of the Shard ambition.
We love that.
I think death is far more accurate than grand disturbance. But yes.
Well, like it's a wound in the spiritual realm, even like it's bad.
I know. So there's a place out there in the Cosmere where Ambition's death continues to pulse energy or stuff current, and that can be detected by virtually anyone in the Cosmere with a measure of like seeking ability or machinery with similar capabilities. So that's one thing, and we'll talk about the Knell in a moment again. But the other thing is this featureless obsidian that makes up the corridors between subastrals, that makes up kind of the surface of Silverlight. That turns into less featureless and more featureful obsidian as we get into different subastrals. So if you compare the description of the ground, of the obsidian ground, in places like Rosharan, in places like Drominad, and I think Scadrian, we also get a description. They are slightly different from one another. I think on Scadrian, it's more like volcanic rock. I think Rosharan is more like traditional obsidian as we think of it.
Obsidian.
And then in Drominad, it's a little bit coral-y.
Yeah. That's cool.
So that's another way that like the individuality of the different subastrals and the people manifesting those or shaping those subastrals kind of influences the region.
Cool. Well, let's talk about the subastrals, and I think the most prominent subastral is, of course, the Rosharan subastral.
Because we've been there.
We've been there. Wow. We love that.
We have maps of it.
We have a map
even.
We have a map even.
Been there quite a lot at this point.
We've been there quite a lot at this point. Yeah, because it's been in the last 3 books. Well, I mean, even like a
4
bit in
books.
Way of Kings. Yeah. So.
Oh, it's been in all 5 books then.
There you go. Yeah. Of course, Words of Radiance. Of course. What am I talking about? But certainly more significantly in Oathbringer, Rhythm of War, and Wind and Truth. So I'll pop up the Shadesmar map as we talk about this. And
for those of you who don't know, this was one of the original end papers for the hardcover of Way of Kings. It was in the back of the book.
Yeah, that's right. Because
still is.
Yes, but I believe when Way of Kings came out, I think Brandon's original intention was that those end pages would be the same as the books progressed. And he's like, oh yeah, the ones in the back with the Shadesmar map and, the void binding chart. Oh, that won't be relevant for a while. But then they changed the end papers. And we've gotten very cool end papers, so that's fine. But so if you haven't seen the end page, we'll pop that on here. What's going on with Roshar's subastral? Which is that's a very broad question, actually, but okay.
Do we want to start with the coolest thing, the weather?
Is that where we want to start? I was going to start with the glass beads, but yeah, no, let's talk about the weather. Let's do it.
I was also going to do
we can start with the glass beads. I don't know. Do we want to start with the beads?
No, you were excited about the
Let's
weather.
Talk about the weather.
We can talk about the
I'm excited about the weather, guys.
Let's do it.
The weather in Rosharan is pretty exciting. So we know of 3 different types of weather patterns in Shadesmar, which are different to normal types of weather. There's no temperature changes, no precipitation, no wind in Shadesmar. Instead, we have what's called crystalline days, where things are covered in pink crystal fuzz, and there's colors that shimmer in the sky. Plants grow faster, enough that you can actually see them changing. Then we've got energetic weather, as it is called, which energizes true Spren who become chattier and more cheerful. They can also hear a faint drumming in the back of their mind during the weather, which is upbeat and energetic. And
That sounds
it is
like a rhythm.
interesting.
Yes.
It does sound like a rhythm. And it's interesting because I think when Kaladin is in the high storm in Oathbringer, when he's in Shadesmar, he can also hear some sort of pulsing. And I wonder whether it's something similar.
I mean, I would assume that the Kaladin one is just him, like, hearing Honor's tone or Honor's rhythm.
Yeah, I was like, what do we mean by that? But yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah.
I was about to say, a pulsing is not a tone, but a rhythm definitely would be.
But the honor stuff. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. And of course, we have the High Storm, which appears as like a iridescent, shimmery movement through Shadesmar. It doesn't renew fears, but it does renew Spren. They feel much better afterwards. So those are the three types of weather that we've seen come up in Shadesmar so far, and I don't know, I think they're all pretty neat.
Your research is very good.
Agreed.
I'm shocked. That's very cool. You're ready to go with your references.
Well, I appreciate, I think, Ian's help for also putting stuff in the doc.
Hell yeah.
Was there a different weather pattern, or was it one of the three where, like, when Adolin was observing those or talking about them in Rhythm of War in Lasting Integrity, I remember something about lifespan, like aggregating to plans. Was that just a consequence of an energetic day?
Possibly, probably.
Okay.
That'll be the top question we do when we reread Rhythm of War for sure. But
I know, just briefly to touch on the RPG World Guidebook, they also only list the three types of weather as well.
cool. Yeah, man. I like crystalline weather. I forget about that. I also forget for a while that there are plants and stuff in Shadesmar, but like Kaladin at the end of Oathbringer, they're like going through a forest.
Yeah, and the forests are like multicolored as well. They're multicolored crystals.
They are very crystalline. Yeah.
There's mushroom trees.
You're very excited.
Yeah, it's the cognitive realm has its own flora and fauna.
Yep.
So it's like you can take a physical realm plant to the cognitive realm and make it grow. Like, you need light and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you can't really take a cognitive plant to the physical realm. It's not going to do so well.
Well,
No.
and that is in part because taking anything out of the cognitive realm and into the physical is a tricky proposition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can go in there and you can pop out, right? Obviously, world hoppers do this all the time, but taking spren. Well, so first of all, the only spren that we have seen people take out of Shadesmar are bonded spren, and we see them, for example, Shallan's armor spren. We see them as just regular old creation spren that are sneaking, that are riding in her bag, and she walks out and they become regular-ish creation spren.
I wouldn't even say that she like takes them out of the cognitive realm, because I think they stay in it to the same extent that
Sure.
they always have,
Yeah, it's like
and
they're
just
not.
part of them manifests.
Yeah.
Mhm, part of them manifests as, and same for Radiant Spren.
Yeah, it's the same as like you can try to transition Shardplate in, but it's not actually gonna move.
I do love the Rosharan subastral because it's definitely gives that high fantasy. We're going into another realm. Like, the aesthetic, absolutely nailed.
One of the things that I love the most about Rhythm of War when we I guess like Oathbringer more, because that's when we really went into Shadesmar and saw how much of a world there was in the cognitive realm.
Yeah.
Is it really pointed out that this is a place that fully exists on its own. It's not some empty wasteland that is that doesn't have very much in it and is alien in the sense that it's empty. It has its own geography. It's got its own economy. It's got cities and all of the different types of spren. It has the world hoppers that go through. It's its own place in exactly the same way that the physical realm is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just really cool to me. That really changed how I looked at it.
I wonder if, because we also spend a lot of time in the Scadrian subastral, and it is nowhere near as fleshed out as the Rosharan one, right?
Yeah.
In fact, it doesn't have all of these unique features. It is in many ways just a reflection of the physical world.
No, it does have weird plants.
It has some stuff, yes, but it doesn't have the same kind of, cities and nations and peoples and animal,
I mean, you don't have the spren, so yeah.
And so I wonder if part of that is just ruin and preservation not taking care of, because like they made the planet, maybe they didn't take care to create like a vibrant cognitive, like a vibrant subastral. And I say that because I wonder whether other subastrals we might visit in the future, such as the Nalthian one that we see here, will also end up being similarly like populated and inhabited and rich on features.
I think Roshar is going to be a bit unique for this. I think most subastrals are going to be mostly vacant, like Scadrial.
Yeah.
I think they'll have features, but we just won't explore them as much.
Yeah. My point is that more that like not every world has spread.
Yeah.
Like
True.
So you're not going to have societies there, right? Like that's kind
so
of
it's
the
like
difference.
Like Komashi, I could see it being plausible that like the spirits like have some sort of culture on the cognitive realm side.
That's cool.
But
I
like
can see that, yeah.
Nalthis, Scadrial, like they don't have like I can't say autonomous investiture because autonomy is a shard.
Damn it, Brandon.
I mean,
using the
They
word.
don't have like free range investiture being
Yeah.
like
Grass-fed.
spread.
I do wonder with Scadrial whether the Lord Ruler actually played a difference as well. Because if he wanted, with the Lord Ruler being aware of the perpendicularity and controlling the Adium mines as he did, there's every chance that he wanted to stop anyone from kind of setting up camp on the other side, because they could have then challenged him in some way if they were able to make it through the perpendicularity. So I could have seen him doing something just to basically stop people from doing that.
The thing is, we know he didn't. Because
Really?
like Hoyd has a comment about like, oh, you destroying the pits like disrupted a huge center of interplanetary trade. Like there was like stuff going through the pits.
Famously canned goods.
Yeah, canned goods. So like
I'm not thinking of like if there was like a base camp on the other side instead of like trade going through it.
I think there has to be some sort of base camp on the other side for it to function as a
as a wait
trade
stop.
depot, basically.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Another version of Nameless.
yeah, yeah. So it's like we don't see Kelsier go that way. It's so that there are probably like going back to what Yini said of like there's stuff out there we just don't see it. Like there probably are like a few places that are like inhabited by world hoppers and such, like in the cognitive realm of Scadrial. Most notably Pits of Hatson. But like it's also like most of that would be on like the oceans in the physical realm. So it's like Kelsier doesn't spend that much time in oceans.
True. Before we get too much on Scadrial, let's finish up talking about Roshar, in that Roshar has the bead oceans, and the beads represent objects and things, beings. Let's say nouns. How about that? You know, like objects. They're beads. Presumably everything has beads, other than souls, which the souls are the little fires, right? The little flames.
People and animals seem to be little fires.
Yep.
And everything else, as small as a stick, as big as a palace.
Yep.
Has a glass bead.
And
what about trees?
Yeah, what about trees?
I have wondered that, and I think it has to be a bead and not a fire.
That's racist against trees.
That is speciest against trees.
Kwan would get on your case, because Kwan said the trees did think. Okay.
I mean, the beads have some measure of sentience.
No, they
can
do.
think.
They do.
I don't dispute that.
That is true. And so, like, the beads and the flames, that can vary on different subastrals, right? They're not always beads. The appearance of souls, those differ in different subastrals.
Yep. Drominad, notably, we don't have little fires. We have people, and AVR are often manifest as like twin fishhook looking fires.
Are there any words of Brandon that actually explain why it's beads? Like the glass beads?
So for the longest time, Brandon would not tell us why they are beads on Roshar. There's been a lot of different theories. Emberdark finally gave the answer that the glass beads are a representation of the gemstones that are being used for light. And that's why they come up as beads. Yeah.
I don't love that, because then they should have been just gemstones and not glass beads.
Yeah, but it's got to be different than glassy and things. That's clearly the aesthetic. That's fine.
They are smaller than spheres, I believe.
They are smaller than spheres.
Yeah.
Spheres are bigger.
Yep.
Yeah, they're about the size of a fingernail.
Cool. Well, that's nice. The Shadesmar sun is in different positions in different subastrals. So, like, on the Rosharan subastral, it's like over the horizon type thing. And there is a whole thing where, particularly on Roshar, like, shadows are inverted. So there is some weirdness in the cognitive realm.
Curse of Kind.
The Curse of Kind, yes.
They're inverted, but only by the Shadesmar sun.
Yeah.
If
they
it's
point
an actual
towards.
fire,
Yeah.
that it's regular shadows.
Yeah, because the Shadesmar sun is very, like, there's more light than just the Shadesmar sun, right? Like, it's weird. And so on the Rosharan subastral map, we have several interesting features here. We have 3 seas: the Sea of Regret, Sea of Souls, and Sea of Lost Lights. And so that's inverted from land, obviously shaped as Roshar. There we have
Julia set.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. We have 3 nexi. So we have the Nexus of Imagination, Nexus of Transition, and Nexus of Truth. And then off in the distance, we have expanses. And those are other subastrals, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Something of note here, the Nexus of Transition at the very least,
Mm-hmm.
possibly also the Nexus of Truth and Nexus of Imagination, but Nexus of Transition specifically seems to be kind of squarely within the Rosharan subastral. That's the Pure Lake, or the Reshi Isles, or something, in that area.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a mountain range. And the Nexus of Imagination also kind of looks like a mountain range. The Nexus of Truth does not necessarily.
No.
Nexus of Truth appears to be where one of the Rosharan oceans is, and looking at the map, it just looks like a flat. It would be obsidian plain in this case.
Yeah.
So not necessarily something that we can helpfully derive a conclusion from, but it looks like, unlike the expanses, the Nexi might be more local to the subastral.
Yes, that's a good distinction. Clearly, this is an artistic depiction, not to scale. It's clearly expanse that way,
Yes,
right? Type
yes.
thing.
Yes. Yeah. And so to name them, on the map, we see the expanse of the densities, which we know corresponds to Cell.
Mm-hmm.
The expanse of the broken sky, which, thanks to the RPG, we know is Taldane. Brendan has been asked many times about Broken Sky being Taldane, and he refused to canonize that. But so thank you to the kind folks at Brotherwise for finally nailing him down on that.
Yep.
And then the last one that's on the map is Expanse of the Vapors, which of course is Scadrian.
Yep.
And then the fourth one is the Expanse of Vibrance, which is Nalthis.
And I believe is covered by the text Shadesmar.
Yes.
At one point, Brandon was asked, what's the fourth expanse that would be there? And he's like, yeah, it's Vibrance. And yeah, well, that's obviously Nalthis.
Yep.
And the rationale being densities is Cell because of the super dense superstorm that is the door that is inside that subastral. Broken Sky, long theorized to be Taldane because Taldane is a tidally locked world where one side is day and the other side is night. And so halfway between those two sides, the sky is broken in a way, in a light half and a dark half.
Sure.
So I think if we are ever to visit that subastral, I would expect some kind of a stark division in the sky there, which I think would be really cool.
That would definitely be reflected in the population, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vapors, because mist.
Yeah.
And vibrance, because colors.
So, one thing about this that is interesting is that notably expanses aren't Ashen and Braze.
Yes.
So that is going into that discussion we had earlier is interesting, right?
It is interesting. I know at one point before we had most of these confirmed, I did have theories trying to assign the to Ashen and Braze.
Hell yeah.
Broken Sky could be Ashen because they're on floating islands upside down.
Absolutely.
That's kind of a broken sky.
So it makes me wonder if somehow these nexuses somehow...
That is a thought that happens in my mind from time to time.
So this is not going to lead us to anywhere productive, but I'll go there anyway.
Great.
When they pull the Everstorm through Shadesmar,
it goes by the Nexus of Imagination. They say that there's a storm going past there.
One might wonder if that's Braze in that direction. I couldn't possibly imagine why Imagination would be associated with Braze, but
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Another possibility is going back to that idea of corridors between subastrals. It's like these are like the 3 like on ramps for 3 of those.
Oh, okay, sure.
Potentially.
Oh, I actually really like that. Yeah.
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 So it is a travel nexus, so to speak.
So
Okay.
that's the highway.
Yeah.
That's the interstate.
Well, it's the truck stop where like 2 interstates meet type thing. It's the interchange. Okay, I like that. That actually makes sense. Very different from another nexus that we will talk about later, which is completely different, clearly, from this. So
Does that help us? No, it doesn't help. I was gonna bring up the vapor firmament corridor.
I was also about to bring up the vapor firmament corridor.
yeah. So this is referenced in Emberdark, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Presumably that's one of the Shadesmar highways, corridors between subastrals. Presumably it is a corridor between something vapor and something firmament.
Which
expanse of the vapors sounds awfully suspicious, right? And so the question is there an expanse of the firmament or something like that?
Which I want to talk about for a minute.
Let's do it.
Because firmament is an uncommon word that some viewers may not know about. This is a thing in like ancient Near Eastern mythology, very notably biblical mythology. And it's like, so the firmament is the celestial dome that divides the waters above from the waters below.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it like Genesis myth, it happens on the 2nd day. That's fun. And Brendan has talked about this idea of the firmament of like an ocean in the sky as like a world concept he's interested in.
Oh,
so like I do wonder, like, is this like a reference to that world?
Okay, that's interesting.
This leads to the Apocalypse Guard.
No.
Oh no.
Apocalypse Guard's secretly Cosmere.
Oh no.
No.
Next to the multiverse, you guys.
Go back to the Emberdark. We don't need that thought discovered.
Yeah. Or this is like some subastral where the unseen is in the sky, which I feel like is a bad scenario.
That would be cool, though.
It would be cool. But yeah, firmament, water in the sky, but not in the normal way of clouds. It's why the sky is blue.
In that mythology, yes. That's good. You nailed that explanation. We love that, Ian. I love that.
Okay. I can absolutely get behind the idea that there exists a world that we have not discovered yet. Or maybe it's like, Biendao, Mythos, Oberdai. Oh, Oberdai.
Yeah.
These waters? Huh?
Well,
no, that's referencing Patchy.
Yeah.
God damn it, that's referencing. Anyway.
Yeah, we know that.
But anyway, so one of the named worlds, right? Or an unnamed one. Oh my god.
Nameless, you might say.
I might, but I won't.
One thought I had, and I think it's more likely to be a different world, but this conversation made me wonder what would Rosharan's subastral expanse name would be. And there is like a thing where like maybe the firmament is like glass, right? And so like maybe glassiness, this is maybe Roshar. I don't think that's as likely as other things, but I do wonder what Roshar's expanse name would be. That would be cool.
Firmament of Storms.
No, but like I feel like the expanse names are going to represent more like vapors being, it's this misty ground, vibrance. We got the colors and things. I actually really like Broken Sky with like almost like 2 halves of the world with like some division there. That would be really cool, actually. But
some sort of like uniting aspect of them.
Yeah, but maybe there is
so
like
that like people don't. It's one subastral. It's not 2 subastrals.
Yeah. So like I don't know what Roshar's would be. Put your comments below for Roshar Expanse.
We will collect the best ones and send them to Brandon.
No, we're not. No,
we will not do that.
Do put your comments below.
This is an excellent question for Brandon.
Yes,
it is.
That's a very good question.
For context, by the way, because I was curious, the the line where this phrase comes from Dager, who says, "We have patrols along the vapor firmament corridor. Mao's declarations have been very clear. This direction is off limits and under exploratory jurisdiction." So, if vapor is Scadrian, which I think is not a hot take for any of us.
No, that's confirmed.
Well, vapor in the context of vapor firmament, if that is the same as...
Yeah.
I feel like it's not worth entertaining the idea that it is not Scadrian.
Sure. So this is saying is, hey, we have patrols from Scadrian subastral to some other subastral. How did you get here without our patrols?
Sure.
Intercepting you, which maybe gives us the ability to do like a little bit of light mapping of the cognitive realm, because they do come from Silverlight.
Mm.
It's not
We know where
useful, but
No,
Mm.
I don't think we do.
This does kind of touch on another thing,
Mm-hmm.
which you may want to go to map mode for.
Oh,
Which
we've been
is
in map
the
mode the whole
star-
time.
Okay, which is the star chart.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
end pages of Arcanum Unbounded,
Oh, we love the star
Which-
chart, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which for
Yes.
there has long been a theory that this is an abstract representation of the cognitive realm. Because if you overlay the map of Shadesmar over where Rosharan is on the map, the four
expanses.
adjacent expanses are Cell, Taldane, Scat, and Althus in roughly the correct orientation.
Yeah.
Same
Uh-huh.
directions.
So it's never been confirmed. And also, like, I do think Emberdark slightly disproves this, because it references like First of the Sun as being vaguely between Rosharan and Scadrian, and it very much is not on this star chart.
Yeah.
Depending on how you define between.
If by between you mean way to the side, yeah.
well, but
If you have two things that are here and one thing that's over here, it's technically between them.
I would just say it's
looking
clearly closer to
between them.
Scadrian.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's interesting things with the 3D to 2D projection that could be there, right? But I do really like that Rosharan. It is Taldane's Scadrian, not the cells. Like, okay, there you go. That's pretty
Yeah.
compelling there.
It's why it is a popular theory, because like it does line up quite nicely.
Oh, and Threnity's way up there. Okay, on the upper left.
So like
of the
theoretically off in that direction is the Knell.
I had screenshots of Universe Simulator a while back, but I don't know where they are. But we have to talk about this. Oh, it's between these two, even though it doesn't look like it's between the two. Which I like. Some people have taken to mean that the constellation chart is like has been retconned, or is no longer canon, or is inaccurate, or whatever.
Yeah.
It is. This chart looks like that from a specific point of view in the Cosmere. The Cosmere is three-dimensional space, and so as you change your observation point, things may. I really want to have like a visual.
Yeah, it's like these things like are not on a flat plane, like they do exist. So like in that sense, yes.
Here, example. My head is the Drominad system.
Okay.
My two fists are the warring factions of the future of the Cosmere, Scadrian and Rosharan. My head is between my two fists. But if I rotate,
Sure. Yeah. And your head.
one of my fists is now between my head and the other fist.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
similar idea.
That is all yes, which is why we can't use the star chart to say which planets are closest to one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which like I've long been, yes, that kind of discounts the idea of like using this as like, oh, it's like this particular perspective was chosen because it represents the general orientation of things in the cognitive realm. It's like, no, like these two things are just disconnected from one another.
There's some correlation, but yeah, it's definitely not perfect. And I think that's fine. Good call there. We love that here.
And so, like, going back to like the 3D-ness of it all, it's like First of the Sun can be between the Scadrian and Rosharan star systems in physical space without it being between them in the cognitive realm.
Or vice versa, really, right?
Or vice versa. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's like if Roshar and Scadrial are adjacent in the cognitive realm, which we know from the map.
Like, obviously, in that direction, like, clearly there's a corridor going there, but like it's hard to necessarily say like the distance in the cognitive realm, right? Like, so like adjacent's a little weird, but like I agree. The great thing with the cognitive realm is don't map it because it can just change due to thoughts. And so tough crap, basically, right?
And corridors don't have to be straight lines. Corridors can shift. You
could have intersections in those corridors, like two corridors intersecting. Like who's to say, right?
You might have a corridor between two subastrals, and then a third subastral kind of pops in the neighborhood and like pushes the corridor off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the name of the expanse for Drominad is something that I just was thinking about.
Nope.
Correct.
And there is a possibility that the Firmament, like if it's the expanse of the Firmament, is just Drominad. And
well,
just
they didn't know there was a subastral there, so they wouldn't have named it.
They just discovered this place.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, like, they have patrols. So first of all, this is the Vapor Firmament corridor. There's no corridor that we have seen here. And the fact that they have patrols indicates, constant activity, and Danger is just off. He is hunting for a perpendicularity that his superiors don't believe exists.
Yeah, that's fair.
But eventually, it should get a name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, the idea of, like, waters in the sky, like, it's not quite that, but the way that the Unsea is set up in the Drominad subastral is very interesting and different to other subastrals. So, yeah.
All right, so that was a fun, long look at the Rosharan subastral. Obviously, the one that will take the longest here. And we talked about other things.
You know what's interesting about the Rosharan subastral?
What's that?
It does have some measure of verticality to it.
Oh, like with your Theru, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Which, obviously it's not one-to-one, because when they are climbing down the Noadon stairs of Noadon, one of those.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not like they are descending the entire mountain, but it's still, pillars of Noadon.
No, actually, it's Noadon stairways.
Okay. I was there and then I left it. But yeah, so it's interesting that it's not fully like collapsed into 2D space.
I believe that Cabraz is also slightly similar, just from when Shallan is seeing the cryptics. She's seeing them basically where she is, not at a different elevation in Shadesmar.
Like if she sees herself at sea level, essentially. And it's weird with her because she is not fully into Shadesmar at that point. She's kind of, there's like a weird realmic overlap that is happening there.
But I don't think she does see herself at sea level. Like it's been a while since I read those scenes, but I don't think she sees herself at sea level.
No. Are you talking about when the cryptics are like chasing her?
Yeah.
Like when she's running and turning around and taking memories and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think they're just kind of a little bit in the physical realm at that point. Because otherwise they wouldn't need to adhere to like hallways and things like that.
Mm-hmm. At the very least, her sight is like superimposing them on the physical realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is the moment in the hospital where she falls, like she tries to, or not in the hospital, but in the hospital, right? When she tries to soulcast, and like falls in, but even then she's not in Shadesmar, like she's astral projecting into Shadesmar and like
that's
falls
really
into the
weird
big
there.
ocean, and Yasna has to pull her out. So that's got to be like sea level at that point.
I think we've heard something somewhere also about like sea trenches becoming ridges upward. Haven't
There
we?
is the Salavashi
Trench.
Oh god, what is
Salavashi Trench.
Or yeah, like mountains becoming trenches as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a mountain range.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I would imagine
there-
like just all of Shadesmar has locality.
Yeah.
Like it's just the same as the like land sea thing. It's just like everything's just kind of reversed. Things generally is the impression that I've gotten.
I feel like it's less so than in the physical realm.
Has to be less so.
Probably, yeah.
Like it can't be 1-to-1. Like I do think it's notable that Eurytheru, like you had the really long stairwell, which like I wouldn't necessarily think is always the case.
Eurytheru also floats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eurytheru is
Well,
allowed
it's
to be
also-
super weird, of course, but
It's the sibling, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like huge
of course
investiture
it's
and
weird.
stuff. Yeah. The Salavashi
Well,
Trench corresponds to the Sunmaker Mountains, by the way.
Yeah, so that's I guess one of the points I'm trying to make is yes, Eurytheru is allowed to be weird, but Eurytheru is on top of a mountain. So where is that mountain in Shadesmar? Is it just the sea under Eurytheru is a sinkhole?
Yeah, I would assume
Yeah,
so.
possibly.
such cool.
I do, but I do think there is weird stuff with Carbranth though, with like because it's on such a mountain, but like the verticality doesn't seem to matter, and like what are the spren doing in the cognitive? Well, I guess it must be some transition to the physical. I think it's weird. It works the way the story needs to happen, but
I think that just gets into the mapping between the cognitive realm and physical realm is not perfect.
yeah. One thing I wanted to note on the map from Rhythm of War is that at the bottom of the Sea of Souls map, they have two different paths, one to the Expanse of Vibrance and one to the Nexus of Imagination. So I don't know if it quite works as well for Nexus of Imagination to be like a meeting of corridors. And like there, that's really indicating Nexus of Imagination, is like that mountain range, right? Which like makes sense
Or at
with
least
the overall
over
Shadesmar
it.
map. Like it's in that direction,
least,
clearly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say like this is proof that it's referring to the mountain range. It's just like there's
Sure.
mountains in this direction, and that's also the direction of the Nexus of Imagination.
Yeah. I want to know what the nexuses are, guys. That's what I want to know.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Cool. Let's talk about a different subastral. Let's talk
Let's talk about
about
a Sebastral that we've already kind of talked about.
Scadrian. We talked about it a little bit. It's misty. Wow, look at that. The sun here
Well-
is high in the sky, not on the horizon. Wow. Look at that. It's slightly different.
Metal glows.
Yeah, metal glows. People glow.
Mhm.
So where on Rosharan, people were represented as just flames, just like little fires. Here, they seem to be more human-shaped, is my
Mhm.
impression. It is
Mm.
just, they are glowing.
Mhm.
And that like ties into the idea that metal also glows in the Scadrian subastral. And the idea that metal and souls are, in a weird way, kind of the same thing. in that they are kind of conduits to the spiritual realm. So we have people are that the actual like landscape of the subastral is just like a misty version of the physical realm for the most part. There are some weird plants. I don't think we've seen any weird animals in here, although it's possible that they do exist.
No plants, no animals, but like weird. So like on the other side of Luthadel Lake or Lake Luthadel, whichever it is, I remember reading this Secret History and being surprised there was a lake next to Luthadel. I'm like, what? It's like the plants are described as having brown leaves with mist rising from them, which is a cool aesthetic.
That's cool.
And it makes sense that on Rosharan they would be kind of crystalline, and here they would have like misty features. I think that's reasonable. But yeah, it looks just like the physical realm, except where there is water in the physical realm, here there is obsidian, and where there is land in the physical realm, here there's mist. And that's not a problem for Kelsier, who is a cognitive shadow at this point, but it's absolutely a problem for anyone else who tries to walk on it, like Hoyd, unless they do the old ride a soul.
Sail on a corpse.
Sail on a corpse.
We all know that. We love that.
Or, presumably they come in with a boat that's covered in worm paste.
Investiture, right? At this stage.
Yeah. Like, it would be interesting, like, could a Spren walk around on the misty ground?
That's interesting.
I would imagine so. I just think you need like more investiture than a basic person has.
I would assume.
Float, or does he sink?
No,
I think he sinks very slightly into the ground, but like he can just walk normally, basically.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, so it's like a soft ground for him.
Yeah, he's walking on jello, basically.
Yeah, because his friend completely
on snow.
Rosharan.
Yeah, they sink through the beads. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
True.
Yeah, that's interesting. It does remind me a bit of the worm paste, like resisting the unseen. So like that you have that resistance. And so I think that's probably a similar thing. It's just the misty things. It's like, it's not quite as, stable per se, right? So it's an interesting walking experience. But yeah, you need a boat. I wonder what the final Empire era people are doing with their boat, getting that investiture to get over to the perpendicularity and things.
Well, Final Empire also has canals. So there are roads through the ocean of
that's actually
Scadrian.
that is very convenient. Yeah.
It's like true. Expanse of the Vapors, a lot like the cognitive realm as a whole, where it's like it's mostly weird stuff you can't go into, but there are hard and fast roads linking things.
No canals to the Kandra homeland, though, to the pits, right?
They need a boat there, but that would be an outpost or some crap, right?
To get there, yes, but you can get close with a canal.
Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting. Anyway, that's mostly what's going on in the misty subastral itself. Of course, there's not that much notable there that we know of.
There is something of note, and we didn't bring it up during the Rosharan section of the episode, but maybe we should have. It's the idea of manifesting souls.
Oh yeah.
Which is something that certain people and certain Spren can do over in the Rosharan subastral, where you find a bead you find the cognitive aspect of a thing, like a fire or a bolt or a brick or whatever, and you give it some investiture, and that allows you to manifest a version of that object in Shadesmar, where you are. And it kind of functions as the object, except on this side, but it's a temporary version of that object, right?
Yeah.
And so, for example, what you can do is you can find like a really fancy chair or the bead of a really fancy chair, and then you can give it a little bit of Stormlight, and now you have a really fancy chair for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Kelsier does essentially the same thing on a few occasions, where he finds like the soul of a flame and is able to, seemingly without giving it investiture, because he doesn't have any, he's able to manifest kind of the ghost of a flame to give him illumination in this world. So that's something that doesn't come up in Isles of the Emberdark. And there's not much of an opportunity for it to come up, but I will call out that it doesn't happen. But the fact that we see it on Rosharan and the fact that we see it on Scadrian suggests that it's probably, if not universal, then at least a common cognitive realm experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Another thing, which I think will help transition to our next topic, is
I had it as well.
More Scadrian plants. Because when Kelsier leaves the continent and goes into the ocean in Secret History, where he will eventually visit the Weiry fortress, there's just like a jungle on the other side of the ocean on Scadrian. It's like a jungle of strange trees, some with brownish red fronds and others with wide palms.
Was this on the other side of the ocean, or was this like in the ocean in the cognitive realm?
On the other side of the ocean. Physical realm, ocean, cognitive realm, land.
I was going to be like, maybe there are a lot of sea plants that survived where land plants didn't, and that sort of is showing up in a way, but no, it sounds like different.
Just a thought I had before about the souls of people, how they look like metal. It makes me wonder whether the souls of people who are not Scadrians would also look the same, or whether they would look different. And if it's actually because Scadrians were created by preservation of ruin, and that's why it looks the same as the metal. Or whether everyone just has that aspect when they're on
see
Scadrian.
Hoyd, right?
Yeah, we do see Kelsier doesn't remark on Hoyd looking different.
And that's
he transitions to.
Hoyd's kind of weird, though.
He's
Hoyd
not
is
the best
weird.
example.
He very explicitly is not created by Ruin and Preservation.
That's true, but he has like pre-Adenalcium stuff, right? Or like Adenalcium pre-shattering stuff. I mean, that there's weirdness, but
I would expect that anyone who visits the Scadrian subastral is going to look the same way to someone who is in the Scadrian in that region of Shadesmar.
That it's by subastrals and not by planet ethnicity.
Yeah. So in other words, I think if Dusk and his AVR were to visit the expansive vapors, I don't think they would look like fish hooks. I think they would look like glowing people.
Okay.
But like a person in their Sion visiting the Drominad subastral might look like fish hooks.
yeah, I think that's probably...
Asterisk on the Sion.
Well,
but
the
yes.
Sion. Okay,
Well, I was just reaching for like another bonded.
Yes, but
I guess that's being invested that much. I don't know.
Sion is
General
weird.
idea.
Yeah.
Person and yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. If there is a world where people bond
Another
not with birds but with bears, then yes.
Bears.
Then my dad wants to go there.
Yes.
A bear VR.
Yes. And so, yeah, we do get a huge fortress that's by the jungle, right? In Secret History. I didn't reread it before this, and I should have, but
Maybe that's something we need to talk about a little bit. So my impression is that Kelsier essentially leaves or is just about to leave the subastral.
That was my
He
thought,
gets
too.
to the edge of
Yeah,
the
so
subastral. I don't think he can leave, so it's like it does have to be within the bounds of the subastral.
At the very least, he can't go far.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
gotta be
but-
like right there.
But where is the edge of the subastral?
Where is the edge of the subastral?
So I think it's just one of those things that's a little fuzzy
Yeah, it
around
has to
the
be.
edges. And so,
Yeah, I
like,
don't think
in
there's
other
like
words-
a set border.
yeah, like, is like the if we think about a planet, and you have the surface of the planet, and you have the atmosphere, and you have outer space.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Where does a planet's atmosphere stop, and where does outer space begin? Right? I think it is a very similar, if not identical, thing with subastrals.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the further Kelsier tries to go away, the more he would be pulled back, type thing,
Mhm.
right?
You know, in a funny way, that's like a reverse gravity, right? Because gravity gets
Yeah.
weaker.
Oh,
The farther away you go.
in that sense, yes. I was like, what
Yeah,
are you
yes,
talking about?
yes.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that exactly like gravity? No, yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a rubber band.
I guess part of that kind of indicates to me that these corridors could definitely have like a lot of interesting life as well, potentially, like in this interplanetary stuff, rather than just being like Obsidian Road, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, possible. I didn't think there would be. I feel like cognitive life would tend to stick close to its subastral.
Yeah.
I think given enough time, like I do think things would start wandering, but it would take a long time. But
Because you
Going back to-
also need ecosystems, right? So, for example, if and the skull snakes are a bad example of this, because they can hunt anything. But if there were if you have like Painspren who are trying to leave the planet, and if Painspren solely subsisted on like human beings' pain, then if they leave the Rosharan subastral, they will be out of nutrition while they are on the corridor until they find another subastral, and that makes it very unlikely that they will ever be able to leave.
Now I'm just thinking about the reproduction cycle for Shadesmar plants. I don't know if that's anyone else's thoughts.
yeah, it's like they are operating under different principles than
Absolutely.
physical.
You just gotta wait until not a crystalline day, but a thirsty day.
Well, I mean, like that's interesting too, because like Roshar has like these super invested storms, right? And so like it's interesting how we have these other invested plants basically in other places that don't necessarily have these huge influxes of investiture. Like we got this jungle by the expanse of the vapors.
Yeah. And going back to like, where is the Weiry Fortress? Like, my thought has always been like, it's into like interplanetary space, but it's not getting into interstellar space.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, is technically off of Scadrian, but it's still within like the borders of the subastral.
Yeah, I kind of imagine it as like essentially a space station, but the Shadesmar equivalent of a space station.
Yeah, so we do have this big Weiry fortress. I do imagine, especially when we go into space age, that these sort of observation stations, basically in the cognitive realm, would be by any notable subastral, perpendicularity or not, right? Like I think that'd be very standard. And this is presumably just a very early version of that in the history of the Cosmere, right?
Yes, but in this case, the Weiry also had a very different and very real motive for setting up here.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
because they wanted to steal preservation, right?
That's still wild to think about. Sacred history is crazy, guys. Go reread that.
But yeah, it's kind of bonkers that they like set up shop.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, they ran a whole ass optic fiber cable from their subastral to here.
Yeah.
I had to type it in.
I assume this plugs all the way back to the door.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
go back to the Shadesmar map.
Yeah.
Cell and Scadrian, opposite sides of Rosharan subastral.
You know,
It's the fiber optic cable in the ocean that the
Under
sharks
the
are
ocean,
eating.
yeah.
There's just a door conduit in the beat-up ocean.
we love
Yeah.
the door conduit.
Yeah, we speed along to it and we see like a bunch of skull snakes just gnawing
Nom, 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 nom.
at the cable.
Someone get someone in here to work on that.
The Weiry as an organization, they had to predate the Riode, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they've had a long time to get very good at their magic system and do all sorts of manners of nonsense.
Shout out to Elonoi.
Oh, yeah. Lake Elonoi, that's wild.
The lake
Awesome.
named after her.
Yep.
Or is she named after the lake? Unknown.
Let's talk about Emberdark again, guys. The city. No.
No, but I imagine the Weiry have like they probably didn't walk all the way from Cell, right? Teleportation probably wouldn't have done the trick, but there's got to be the right aeons to like give yourself like super speed and flight and stuff like that, and so you just kind of zoom along.
Any conceivable ability, as long as they got the door, that they could probably do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And if they are starting in the subastral, the huge super batteries right there.
Yeah, right. You just have to get through the giant plasma storm and Cell. That's maybe half the battle. They're like,
Which-
walking, fine.
The Weiry explicitly know how to do.
Yep, exactly.
They're the
Yep.
ones that know how to do it and charge to get on and off world.
Yeah, exactly. What a fun time. I do really want to see what the plasma storm looks like on the other side. Like, I think we have to.
I mean, we are but a few years away from Elantris sequels, so
Mhm.
maybe.
The thing about the Weiry fortress is that the only reason it is notable for this podcast is it's the only one of its kind that we know of. But presumably this sort of thing is common. Like any organization like traveling through the cognitive realm is going to be setting up outposts and strongholds wherever like they want to do business.
Yeah.
This is the one we know about.
I mean, you can probably make a case that this is what the Mawish did in Isles of the Emberdark. On the Aquara
This is
Island.
what the Malish were trying to do
Yes.
Yeah.
and failing.
Well, there was a big old snake there.
Well, it's certainly an interesting thing because in Emberdark we see Shadesmar be far more developed type thing, whereas in Secret History time, it's a much lonelier place, right? Where your Cosmere organization, like you're making.
I wouldn't say that much lonelier, just like less high tech about it, maybe. Like I think there was still like a lot of trade and like people.
I do think
going
there's a lot of
around.
trade, but like it's a different scale, right?
Yeah. It
It
really
is-
depends on like where you go
Yeah.
too. Because like Silverlight has been at Silverlight for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it's a meeting point of dozens of worlds.
Mm-hmm.
There
Scadrian
is
apparently wasn't one, or no, Scadrian like was one of them, but it's not like a major thoroughfare.
Yeah.
Like there is a word, Brandon, about the Rosharan subastral.
Yeah.
And it's like why like there's so many world hoppers or something. And it's like basically getting to the point of like it's easy to get to and from the Rosharan subastral. Like it's on the roads, it's the crossroads, like so like there's a lot of traffic going through it. Whereas like the Scadrian, like there isn't as much traffic going through it, so Kelsier doesn't see it.
and I don't remember the traffic bit, but the perpendicularity on Roshar is certainly a lot more a lot more accessible than the bits of Hudson.
I mean, also just we have huge spren cities. So like if you're a traveler, it's like Roshar's a destination, whereas Scadrian's like, like there's having huge societies there. It's like, okay, cool. Same with Silverlight. Yeah, I'll go there. That sounds like a great place to go.
Yeah.
And like in the past, like Roshar has part of its magic dedicated to getting between the cognitive and physical.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's worth mentioning here is that on the note of like technology and the size of the cognitive realm, there is an interesting parallel between as technology advances and travel becomes easier and faster in Shadesmar, human understanding of the distances between the places being traveled develops. And so, yes, your technology gets better, but also those places get farther apart.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the cognitive realm's funny that way.
Where at one point, maybe you could have walked from Scadrian to Roshar in like a month. Now you have a car and you can take that distance in, a day or whatever, but that distance is no longer that distance.
Yeah. That's the fun of the cognitive realm.
It just hates you.
Well, it expands to it's like a gas. It expands to fit what's useful for humans, right? Not many other subastrals to do. Nalthis, we got a line of what Nalthis's subastral's like. Wow, it's very vibrant for sure. We
now know two things about the Nalthian subastral.
Near
It's
Nalthis,
colorful and it has customs.
That's true, yes. Near Nalthis, the surface is painted colors, wet with pigment and flowers that drip ink. Very cool.
Cool.
I'm not sure if that tells us whether there is the land and water inversion going on here. I think that is open to interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
My instinct is to default to Shadesmar land corresponds to physical water, just because that seems to be more often the case.
That's probably true.
But I don't think. I think it can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way this is phrased, I think, does lean more towards not being inverted.
Because
the line about like near Nalthis, the surface is painted colors, wet with pigment, and flowers that drip ink. Period. Roshar, glass beads like the gemstones they use for light, and inverted land and sea, which is common for some regions, but not all of them. So it's like that does imply like Roshar is inverted, doesn't necessarily mean
Nalthis has to be.
Yeah. Which is new information. We thought the inverted land and sea was just a thing, and that was
just universal. Yeah,
it's not always a thing.
It's not.
I have a side note on the Nalthian subastral,
Yes,
which is that however souls show up there, like in Roshar, they're flames, Scadrian, they're like just glowing in people. However they show up there, I wonder if drabs don't have them.
Oh, that's
because
really
they're
interesting.
devoid of investiture. And like the glow of metal, and souls, it's the investiture, right?
So not
That's
devoid, right?
Yeah.
No, you're not
less...
totally devoid, but like
dimmer,
significantly less. Isn't it like less than?
When you have a breath, you have more than the average. When you give up your breath, you have less than the average.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, less than the average. So,
or less than 1 BU, I should say.
So maybe something that's dimmer.
Yeah, like if they're blights.
Like I would go dimmer.
Yeah,
it's like less than the average list. Like okay, like if 1 is Cosmere standard, and like with the breath you get up to like 1.25, and a drive is at 0.75.
Sure,
that's still fairly noticeable.
Yes, yeah.
It's still a decent chunk of investiture. It's just less.
Yeah,
because we know that the flames can look different depending on the person, so it makes sense that these could look different as well.
Fused notably look like red flames.
Oh, I totally forgot that. That's really cool. We love that.
Or it could be a thing where like a normal soul is vibrant and full of color, and a drab soul is grayscale.
Ooh, that would also be very cool.
I like that thought.
That'd be really cool.
I would definitely want the Nalthian representation of humans in Shadesmar to be something that deals with either with colors in some capacity, right? Whether it is vibrant versus dim or like grayscale versus colorful. Like I would want something like that.
Yeah.
Neons versus pastels.
And yes, we have known from words of Brandon that Nalthis has customs, so clearly going through the perpendicularity there is common. I think Brandon said it's a nice place to go to.
I love that.
And like we know the five scholars, some of the earliest like arcanists.
Yep.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got around.
Mm-hmm.
I think the customs swab is enough to probably say that there is some sort of life on the other side in the cognitive realm of Nalthis. Like I don't know if it's full-on cities like there are on Rosharan with the Spran, but there's probably more there than there is on, say, Scadrian.
Yeah, I would.
There's established society.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have like essentially an outpost, like a little town around the perpendicularity, a lot like what we see over at the Hornier Peaks or on the other side of the Hornier Peaks, right? Whether that applies to the rest of the planet is unknown, but I would want for there to be more.
Just makes me wonder, like, awakened objects, their reflection in the Nalthian subastrals, like that. There's room for interesting things in that respect. I don't know whenever we'll get there, but it sounds cool. All these places sound cool. That's fun.
Warbreaker, secret history.
Yeah, as soon as we get the Herald's Secret History and Secret History 2 Spook Edition and Secret History 3 Marsh Edition and Secret History 4 The History of the Mawish.
Hey, some of some of those might be connected, maybe. I don't know. Secret History, The Story of Kelsier's Medallion.
Yeah.
After we get all of those, we get the Nalthis essay.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's when we get the Nalthis essay. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Nalthis essay is caught up in customs. That's why we don't have it.
Oh no.
They got hit. I guess there is one thing actually with Nalthis that could be represented on the subastral. There is the cognitive anomaly on the star chart, and I don't know if we don't know anything of what that means.
Forgot that was.
But presumably that is in the cognitive realm there.
Yeah.
It has to be. But like, what does that mean? I don't know. Where's that Nalthis essay? We're dying since 2016 about this cognitive anomaly and things.
I guess that has to be something like a subastral in the sense that it's a region in the cognitive realm.
It's a
kind
nexus.
of in that neighborhood.
It's a nexus, yeah.
What kind of nexus? Like a Silverlight nexus or like a Rosharan map nexus?
A Rosharan map nexus.
Yes.
Let's be real. Though it could also be that
different.
One of the end exit points of the
It's true.
Silverlight nexus.
It's possible. Who's to say?
Cognitive anomaly, that one thing that leads to really weird places and lots of dragons and...
Yeah, sure. That's where the dragons
it's weird
are.
over there, so we're just going to call that an anomaly and not think about it.
Yeah. Let's go to Drominad. We've
Sure.
mostly talked about Drominad. There's not that much to talk about. Notably, Drominad, the Shadesmar sun is not there at all. Like, it just looks like Unsea. And so
Yes.
I wonder, as more people use that subastral, if the sun will appear there. Because, like, I don't know. Or it is just in different subastrals, it's in different places. I don't know.
Yeah. Eric and I did argue about this before we started recording. Because I think the suns in the different subastrals are mostly there for vibes. And they are not the same sun across all of Shadesmar. Each subastral has its own sun if it wants it. And Drominad doesn't have a sun.
Or I could potentially see it being something like they are the same sun, but that sun doesn't move. So like as you move across the cognitive realm, maybe over very long distances, it changes where it is in the sky. Like,
That was my first thought.
Roshar, it's here, and then Drominad is like on the other side of somewhere, so you just can't see the sun at all. Right? I don't know.
I'm gonna go with a no. on this
Okay,
one.
I don't think that can work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it could work. I think the reason it doesn't is because that's going to give people 2 points of navigation.
That's
And
also true.
We
Yeah.
are trying not to have that.
Yeah.
Because
Because otherwise the navigators aren't important, and they clearly are.
Because you have 1 point towards sun, 1 point towards Knell.
that's a good point.
Now, you could make an argument that the sun is the Knell, but I also don't think that's the case.
Well, I mean, it's straight up and Scadrian also. Like, I don't think you can make that argument.
No, in the sense that it points in that direction. Like, the sun is infinitely far away, and that's where the Knell is.
But that
Eric is saying Scadrial sun straight up.
Oh, straight up.
that doesn't work. It's not Roshar. It's not by the horizon.
Yeah, that's inconvenient, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, then you can't make that argument.
Then you
Easy.
can't.
This is why a vibe-based understanding of the sun is
A vibe-based system.
I think that the position of the sun is interesting and weird, and I would like to know more about that.
So,
like I don't disagree that there could be meaning for the placement of the suns. I just think it is inherently vibe-based.
There's some internal rationale, and I want to know it.
So I'm going to pitch a wild idea that I have no foundation for,
Good.
but I will stick to it until the end of my days.
Okay, good.
The sun is correlated to the planet's beliefs in an afterlife.
What? How?
Elaborate.
Explain.
Elaborate.
The sun,
What?
in some way, represents an afterlife. And so
Okay.
worlds where it, like, amongst the cultures of that world, it is common to believe in an afterlife. And like, the more that afterlife is fleshed out as a thing as opposed to just an abstract, yeah, maybe life goes on, that manifests as this infinitely distant destination in Shadesmar.
Can you explain to me why
Colin?
then on Roshar it is over that way, and on Scadrial it is that way?
Yeah, we heard anything about Scadrian afterlife beliefs?
I mean, there's a bunch of religions. Like, we
Yeah,
got plenty of
That are all
those.
dead.
Bunch of
They're all
dead
dead.
religions.
Like, what does the
well-
Steel Ministry have to say about life after death?
It's probably not good for most people.
Those beliefs are no longer weighing the sun down, and so it has risen to its zenith.
So then,
I do appreciate the appropriate use of the word zenith.
That is true. That is true. I appreciate that too. I
so
don't.
Drominad has tons of beliefs about the
Yeah, it's
afterlife.
way down
Then.
yet. No, I think this is bad. No.
I will take no feedback.
Great. Good.
Well, no feedback is just what you got. The feedback is a no.
Good.
Good. We've kind of talked about the rest of the Drominad subastral. I mean, there's not much. I mean, sometimes it's not inverted, and so sometimes it's water. Right?
Yeah. My thought is that, like, because the ancestors of the Elikin, like, came in via the unsea, like, they have a cultural memory of the unsea. And so that's kind of why when
It
the
looks like that.
subastral formed, like, it stayed as this mostly unsea-like place. But, like, there are differences. Like, it's a slightly different color. Like, it has waves.
Mhm.
It has clouds in the sky.
And that's because their perceptions still affect it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. I think that makes a bunch of sense.
One interesting thing about this subastral is the presence of life in it. The skull snakes and
that's true.
fish
Mhm.
and birds and things like that.
Are there birds?
There is Dusk thinks about some like flying thing at one point.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I don't know if he like flat out calls it birds, but like some flyers.
Bird-like, not bird-like entities, bird-like organisms.
I mean, it could be flying snakes. We don't know.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I mean,
We
sky
already
eels.
got sky eels.
Yeah,
Sky
it's not
eel.
that far.
So one, it is interesting that they exist, but perhaps not very notable because we've seen life in other subastrals. It is also interesting that the skull snakes, at least, hunt very much like the deep walkers and a lot of the predators on the Pantheon do. In fact, there is a particular line in the book where Dusk remarks on how the skull snakes look a lot how he had imagined the shadows or the deep walkers looking. Which I think has to be, the perception of the trappers.
Yeah.
Shit. So, does that make the skull snakes kind of like Spren?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. Like, I think
Yeah.
Kinda.
I think most Shadesmar animals would kind of just be Spren, like some equivalent, right?
Mhm.
Just like Roshar's more
Mm.
numerous.
Yeah. It's
Spren
just-
are physical and cognitive, so
So, that implies that you can eat Spren, yeah?
I mean,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
for
skull
yes,
snakes
you
are.
could.
I know, it feels like there should be some sort of division between
Right?
skull snakes and Spren.
Like that's fair.
Spren are like
Feels
very
like there should,
explicitly
but I'm
made
not
of
sure.
investiture. Whereas like skull snakes does have more of a physicality to it.
That's
like
true.
has
That's true.
blood. Like has meat.
There's meat.
It's
I mean, in the cognitive realm, do Spren not also have physicality?
they do, but like they're just physical investiture. It's like they don't need to like eat things.
I mean,
Like
they
skull
don't.
snakes need
but-
to eat.
I mean, they want to eat. Do they
They
need
want
to
to
eat?
Do they need to eat? This is the questions we want here. Do the skull snakes need to eat?
I mean, even if they don't eat, they could still have like some even if the Spren don't eat, they could still have some approximation of blood and organs and stuff like that, because that's how people perceive being.
I think if
as
that
having.
was the case, they would fare better when being yoinked to the physical realm by a shark.
There is also when the Tukari attack Notum, he gets damaged, but I don't think he like bleeds investiture
No,
or
I don't
anything
think
like
it
that.
does. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
The skull snakes are weird in that respect then. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like in our notes, like I did have a division between like Spren entities and like creatures of investiture and more like physical.
Yeah.
type creatures.
native well, maybe I guess they're all native, right?
Yeah, like it's like still of the cognitive realm, but and like adapted to it, but like has more physicality. This is hard because
More
Things that are made
cognitivity.
of investiture versus things that are made of
but
like
it's
something else.
it's the cognitive
live in the
realm.
cognitive realm.
Yeah.
Everything is made of investiture.
it's like, what is the ultimate origin of the skull snakes and like the unsea fish that they usually eat?
I could see it just still being like entirely investiture, and they just are formed differently than Spren, and they have more of a like kind of a life cycle because
So,
that's what
Yeah.
trappers imagine.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I guess another way to view this question is there like a GODFORGE for skull snakes, or do they just shag?
We did forget to talk about the GODFORGE on the Rosharan.
You say this like we know anything about the
It's a thing,
GODFORGE.
and that's about all we know.
It is
we
a
talked
place
about
called the GODFORGE.
And that's all you need to know.
What
what do you
is
need
the
to know?
place?
when mommy's friend and a daddy's friend, I guess it can be just when two spren love each other
That's
very
right.
I
much.
mean, it doesn't even have to be two spread. It's just when a spread wants a kid.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We don't know what happens of the God. Oh,
No, we don't.
Baby spread are made. We know that.
yeah, we don't know. We don't know how though.
No,
You
no,
take some
we don't.
investiture, you go to the GODFORGE, and you make a baby.
Everyone knows that.
Going back to like this idea that they are just manifestations of investiture, I suppose like that is somewhat reminiscent of the cave of death and how spread plants and animals are just made there that seem like they do in the physical realm, but are just made out of investiture. I find that somewhat unsatisfying, but
Yeah, but like rune and preservation could create physical stuff that was made of meat.
yeah,
You know, so it's like it's fine.
yeah. It's on my list. Where Skull Snake come from, Brandon?
Where's Snull Steak? Yeah, whatever.
Skull Snake.
Whatever.
We've been recording for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 hours is nothing.
Yeah. I'm tired, boss. There's been a lot of content coming around here. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, we'll just go to the GODFORGE and get some content.
Can we have an energetic day? I would love an energetic, some energetic weather. That'd be great. Thanks.
That would be great.
If every time it rained, you've actually got more energy from it.
Make me a spren. That'd be great.
I mean, that's the anti-sad, right? It's the anti-seasonal affective disorder.
Yes.
I mean, some people do like work that way with their seasonal affective.
That would
There
be
is
nice.
that kind of reverse.
In middle school, one of my teachers would always cancel tests if it was a rainy day because she made you sleepy.
Wow.
And so it was not a good environment to take tests.
Interesting. That's fascinating. And of course, brand new in Isles of the Emberdark, mentioned for many, many years, we get to see Silverlight at
New Gold with
last.
design.
I was just about to say that.
Too slow.
You're waiting for a good moment in the pause there, and Evgeni's like, I'm
Nope.
interrupting.
I have a bit.
Who wants to talk about Silverlight?
It's nifty.
It is nifty.
I wish we saw more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll come back to it in future books.
Yeah.
I
This
think
is the only time we'll ever see Silverlight.
That's true. Yeah. Back to obscurity.
Brandon hates
Pitchforks.
Yeah.
It is true. Brandon physically came to my house and told me that he hates us all.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, yeah, because you
Which-
leaked the
That's
map.
where the skeletons
Evgeni,
in your
so-
closet are.
You leaked the map. Everyone knows it. The comments all know it, Evgeni.
Oh no. I have thoughts. But I will not share them with the
Anyway,
class. Silverlight.
yes.
So it we don't know a ton about, I mean, we know way more than we did like a month ago, right?
Yes.
But we still don't know a ton. We do know that it has been around for a very long time. Since I mean, we don't know that, but it's, I think if we read between the lines a little bit, it has existed since before the Shattering.
They were originally dragon palaces there.
Dragon dens, even,
Dragon
right?
dens.
Yeah, so Xysis had a den in this area, and that eventually became a palace, and that eventually became a skyscraper.
Made of dragon steel to be super strong.
And yeah, so like the big thing is like it's built up rather than wide.
Mm-hmm.
The Silverlight Nexus is another place where Verticality in Shadesmar is a little weird.
True.
Mhm.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the
very
Nexus
true.
is, for all intents and purposes, it's underground, right?
Mhm.
Now, it's possible that the Nexus is at sea level and then the surrounding corridors kind of like go up.
Oh yeah,
I
that
don't-
is weird.
I don't love that. I think it feels more natural for the Nexus to be effectively below sea level and then for the city itself to be
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
sea level. But I think either is possible if Brandon ever wants to change or to set his mind.
So there isn't really a sea level in the physical realm though there because there's not a planet though, right?
Sorry, when I say sea level, I mean unsea level.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that's because I assume that the unsea is on the same. It is
Plane.
Yeah, it is height 0.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's interesting that the Nexus would be so much lower.
Because the Nexus is effectively the size of a city, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you have this powerful light going upwards.
Yeah. It's like I could see a thing where it's like, presumably the Nexus has expanded over time.
It certainly has, yes.
That perception mumbo jumbo, it'd be really inconvenient if it expanded up into the city. So it just like expanded down. Like particularly like if it started as a more or less a pool at sea level. And like they built a city up around it. As it expanded, it would have had to expand down.
There's also the possibility that they can control the expansion of these shard pools, right?
Or Ada Lalzim was just like, this is how it's going to be. I don't care that it doesn't match any rules elsewhere in the Cosmere. It's like,
he wants.
I can just see 10,000 years from now where it's going to be a super cool city with a sun above it.
Not impossible, right? It is also a perpendicularity that like does not reflect like a physical location.
Mhm.
And so it is not anchored in the same way. And so it doesn't need to be on surface level necessarily. Why it is below the surface, I think we are firmly in rule of cool territory here.
Sure.
But it is interesting to flag that it's not just cool, but also weird.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Imagine like, yeah, it says they're waiting to move through the holes in the glassy ground to like get down to the Nexus. That's
Yeah,
just
because
interesting.
their docks essentially are underground is how that works out.
Mm. And yeah, so this is stated as this is the largest natural perpendicularity. Most perpendicularities started as small pools, barely 10 feet in diameter, and had to be expanded to accommodate ships. So I'm interpreting this to mean a natural perpendicularity would just be one where a shard, or there can be
shard
other
pool.
ways, but the classic would be a shard goes to a place that essence coalesces into a perpendicularity due to reasons. And
Spiritual water cycle.
yeah, and it collects there. And so that's what we were referring to as a natural perpendicularity, as opposed to, I guess, an unnatural one like they were trying to make at the end of Lost Metal.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
With like just a crap load of investiture and trying to pierce through, I guess, right?
Does make you wonder why this one exists in the first place. Like, what natural process created the Nexus?
I think just AonEne dumped a crap load of investiture there and designed it to do what it did, right?
But like, but then that would be unnatural because it's
Well, but like, I think they're meaning.
Like I feel like AonEne can create unnatural things through natural processes. Like Rosharan was created through natural means. it is very much an unnatural shape.
Okay, sure.
Like,
So like he used the mechanics of the Cosmere to do what he wanted. And like I do think AonEne did it is the best option. Because like I don't know if we've mentioned it. The other weird thing about the Nexus is that it's connected to 3 points in the physical realm.
Yep.
One of them being the Great Star of Yolden, which is up in the atmosphere. Okay. So it's like I could see like AonEne creating this like as a meeting point for these 3 planets.
yeah,
like,
sure.
We know like he made all of his humanoid creatures intercompatible because AonEne was into it, I guess.
He's
so like
into it.
presumably he wanted
God was a
them to
horn
be
dog,
at
man.
some
I don't know what to tell you.
He wanted
So it's
a
like-
meeting place for all of them so they could
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah.
It's the you can't really do like a Tinder kind of pun with silver
No,
or Nexus.
yeah. It's kind of rough.
This is why Shadesmar has thirsty days.
But it doesn't though. That's the problem.
Bringing it back around. We just haven't discovered them yet.
Yeah.
But it
Whether-
should have 30 days.
Really makes me wonder, like, where AonEne put the other 2 exits. Like Yolan, that's fine. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some theories.
Oh yeah.
That I don't necessarily ascribe to.
Okay.
Actually, I explicitly do not ascribe to
Great.
this theory. That like there's like the 3 races. Like there's like 3 races. So dragons have a human form. They're Fane, like the Shodel, and they're also reptilian. And maybe Vaxilians are reptilians. And so, like, the theory is like,
True.
this connects to the homeworlds of like the humans, the Shodel, and the Vaxilians, the true Vaxilians.
Sure.
Which I think the home world for both humans and Shodel is just Yolan. So
yeah.
I don't think this is true, but like it is a theory that's being discussed that I probably butchered.
Theory to go off that. It is possible that pre-shattering, Ati himself went to Silverlight and then exited the Nexus at a different location. That was Vax. And so he recognized Vax at the end of Secret History. That's possible.
I mean, that's possible in like the strictest definition of the word. Like, yes, it's also possible that Laris founded Starbucks on Yolan.
Yeah, I'm just...
I mean, one of those is actually possible.
Yeah.
And one of them is not.
I'm just saying Vax is like a reasonable candidate. We know Yolish people recognize Vax. Is Ati a great example because he's a shard? No, of course not. But it's possible. I think Vax is a very real candidate for a Nexus exit point.
That might explain why Brandon has been as extremely secretive about it as he has been, if it's like relevant to that.
I don't know what Vax has to do with anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like clearly Vax is well known to a famous arcanist named Chris. We all know the initiation on Vax. Like, we all know all about it.
Well, we know it's weird.
A little bit more context for this theory.
Yes.
We don't know what a true Vaxilian is.
No.
This book implies that they're not humans.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because and there is a weird reptilian humanoid we see in Tress of the Emerald Sea. And so people are thinking maybe Vaxilian.
It's possible.
There is a lot of maybes that are hanging on this.
You know,
Yes.
you got to take what you can get with Vax, okay? It's a place, you know, like...
It's a planet even.
Oh, and so notably, Ed was of Silverlight, born and raised, though of Vaxillian heritage. I know this is extremely tenuous, but I think Vax could be one of the exit points for the Nexus.
It is possible, yes.
Don't know where the third one would be, but
See, Brandon ran out of shards to name, so he keeps coming up with mysteries of like, okay, we need to keep completing sets. Like,
that's right.
We're on to vessels, original vessels, and Dawn shards.
Yeah,
and this is
shards.
another ongoing mystery. Where do the Nexus go?
There's always
Where does it come from? Where does it go?
Something copper mind Joe.
Yeah.
something silver-eyed Joe.
There you go.
Oh no.
Oh, here's another theory. It could be possible that the Fane aren't native to Yolen, and that they're an invasive species that got to Yolen through the Nexus.
Yeah, which is kind of supported
Is it?
by the idea that Fane life is spreading throughout the Cosmere. And so if it's spreading now, maybe it has always been spreading. And so you can... I think there's more evidence for that than there is for Vax being the other exit, okay?
Hey, I said I did not ascribe to this. I think Yolen being the source of both Fane and I don't think Shroon life is still a canonical term.
Not
No,
currently.
it is Fane.
But I like that better than Fane and Unfane.
Sorry, it's Unfane.
No.
It's what's in the books, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
Sometimes the books are wrong.
They are,
And bad.
yes. Troon, I agree that Troon is... Like, it is better for the two forms of life to be defined by their own names, not in relation to one another. That's like having carbon and uncarbon life.
I really did not remember that Fane and Unfane. That's an interesting Emberdark line for sure. Okay. Interesting.
And there was a conflict between them.
It is. I wonder if you can.
That the great city of Lorcal predates.
And I still think the great city of Larkal, like if it's built there up in the Great Star, then that's probably about the time where Silverlight started being formed.
They probably
Something
built
like
the
that.
city there because the Great Star was there.
Yeah. That's all.
And they at some point they figured out that the Great Star is a portal, effectively, to a place. They took that portal. They were like, oh, that took us to a weird place. Let's settle a little bit. And then they either at some point taking that portal back didn't take them to their starting point. It took them to other places, or other places also came there.
Yeah. I
It
feel like
is-
Ada Nauseam told them.
Or, the gods before the dragons.
So I would expect that the two other places where the Nexus exits to would have quite a lot of dragon influence. Like this would be surely like after dragons start existing, like they have a lot of influence in those other two places. So it's probably not places we've seen because dragons
maybe it's
pretty...
like it's surely not Daughtry, is it?
No.
I considered that it might have been.
Because I was going to say,
once upon a time.
I was going to say,
Isn't-
if we are like categorizing, if we want the Nexus to take us to like significant places in the Cosmere, right?
Mhm.
The origin of the shards makes sense. Vax makes sense if Vax is like this weird place that's important for some reason that Brandon has been drip feeding us. And then the origin of the Aethers could make sense for the same reasons that the origin of shards does.
Isn't Daughtry like hard to get to though?
Yeah,
Because
no
like
longer has
Yeah, it used to have a perpendicularity. It no longer has a perpendicularity. If the Nexus lost one of its exit points, I feel like that would be major news and would have been mentioned.
mhm.
Yeah,
Like, if you could still get there from Silverlight, then a Deedle wouldn't have as much trouble, I think.
But, like, it is a thing where, like, the Aethers claim to predate AonEne, right? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible that...
They do predate the Shattering. They claim to be of an independent origin.
Yeah. So, like, that's a very relevant thing.
Mm-hmm. Could it be that... Do we know that Datri is the home world of the Aethers?
Not explicitly, but if it wasn't, that'd be
confusing.
Shocked. Yeah.
I mean, the Aethers could have spread. Who knows? There's different strains, so I
mean, they
don't
certainly have spread, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Brandon set things up to heavily imply that was the core original origin.
Yeah.
Aethers. Like, it's the Aether world rather than an Aether.
But yeah, it's hard to think of other planets that would, way back then, that were super important. I mean, Datri losing its perpendicularity is very weird. That's very interesting.
Very weird.
I mean, even Aethers getting a perpendicularity is very weird.
I mean, so the thing is, it doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be Aethers.
No, it absolutely doesn't. It's just, like, currently, we don't have a lot of mechanisms for perpendicularity formation in, like, a stable sense outside of AonEne and shards, and maybe the Aethers are from AonEne and they don't believe that. Well, that's possible, but...
Well, like, whether they're of AonEne or not, like, they are still, like, heavily invested things.
Sure.
Like, entity, creatures. Or, I want to use the word entity, but now you can't.
Lowercase e entity. Lowercase e.
Yeah.
But
so, like, I think
in the books as well.
Yeah. It's like, I think if, like, the 12 primal ethers, like, they have somewhat of a credible argument for being of an independent origin from AonEne. If that's true, presumably they are invested enough like that their planet could develop a perpendicularity.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that is a valid presumption, though, because I don't know whether the Aethers invest in a world in the same way that shards do. My impression, and mind you, we are firmly in headcanon space here, but, like, my impression is that Aethers are far more physical entities than shards are.
Yes, and I don't disagree with you, but they are still adding investiture to the system of whatever planet they're on. So, like, yeah, they're not investing it the way Shard would invest it.
So do you then think that when Honor manifested an avatar and went to Alashua, that avatar is almost by definition infinitely invested? That avatar surely would not manifest a pool on Alashua.
I would not say that avatar was infinitely invested. I think that is he's sectioning off, like, a portion of his awareness, but he is not investing in. So, like, yeah, given enough time, like, could something have developed? Maybe. All I'm saying is it's not implausible that having a whole bunch of Aethers around could result in a perpendicularity. That's all
not implausible. I will meet you at not implausible.
And, like, something happened to some of the Aethers, and so it got disrupted or some crap.
Dark Aether.
Sure.
Dark Aether.
Sure.
Like,
there's lots of reasons.
Sorry, it struck me. I had a moment. It is incredibly funny to me that we can now just go, Dark Aether? Yeah, Dark Aether. Okay.
The
and
comments are like, what are you talking about? It was mentioned in Lost Metal once, so, we all know. Just like Vax, we all know. We all know. This is accessible content for everyone, obviously.
Yeah. The info? Yeah, the info. Yeah, okay, sure. We all know about that.
Everyone knows. Like, it's like that XKCD thing of, like, all Brandon fans, like, know about X sort of thing.
Yeah. Even Brandon's
Who
like, the
wouldn't know
17
about
shard
the
knows
SS?
about that.
Who wouldn't know about the Enif though?
Yeah. We all
The
know
witch
about
killer.
King Reoshem and the Aeon lore, which I do think we will do an episode on.
Sure.
Sure. When we're really running low on content. With Datri's perpendicularity, which barely has any relevance to this episode, but whatever. When else are we going to talk about it? There could have been a shard that went there and did crap and then left. Like that is a possible thing as well. Like who's to say?
They left because the Aethers were mean to them.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
and
probably.
that's what I was driving at when I was saying earlier that the Nexus is not the only way. Like you could have just had, I don't know, autonomy showed up, invested, and because that's, Bavadin was like, hey, I am going to make every world my world, and the Ethers were like, no.
Yeah, probably want to do that before 12 very powerful entities get their, claws in all of the culture of the entire planet. So, you know.
I just off of vibes, it feels like Datri lost its perpendicularity kind of recently.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least on like a cosmological scale recently, So not necessarily within the few years, but maybe within the last few centuries at most.
Something like that. Speaking of perpendicularities, vaguely relevant to this episode, my thought with expanding perpendicularities to allow spaceships to go through is basically just people are dumping lots of extra investiture into said pool, and it's kind of expanding out like that, something like that.
I think a mixture between that and some like shaped perception.
Sure. Yeah.
Like you can't just like dump a whole bunch of investiture into a pool. You need to do it with intention.
Yeah, sure. But I'm sure like crapload of purified door or whatever that they're dumping there is probably a key aspect, right?
Well, yes. In the epilogue of Isles of the Emberdark, I believe Zysis tells the Elakin, like, one of the points in their deal is that Zysis is going to tell them how to expand this perpendicularity so that Padgey can become a spaceport.
God, that's
But
cool.
First of the Sun doesn't have free investiture that they can just dump into the pool.
Just grind up a whole bunch of worms.
Just grind, but wait,
But the worms were invested from the pool.
They're gonna run out of worms.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, I think I don't know where they are finding, because when Dusk first goes through the pool, they're like, hey, this jar is all of the worm paste that we have. And so I don't know what other worms there. I mean, there's the butterflies, right? Did they catch a bunch of skull snakes and grind those? The Dakwara had hundreds of those.
I'm sure Zysis has access to stuff that he can dump.
Surely, but I don't think that was part of the deal. It could have been, but it didn't read like that.
Yeah, he told them the process that they can't do without buying more investiture from him. That sounds like a dragon thing to do.
That sounds exactly like what Zysis would do.
That sounds exactly what the Mawish did.
Well, yeah. He at least wants them to be independent. He just wants money and things.
Yeah.
Could
But
be worse.
theoretically, they're not beholden to buying it from him.
Mhm.
Yes.
They have access to the open investiture market. One other notable thing about Silverlight is that perpendicularity is so big it warps time around it.
Oh yeah. There's a crapload of investiture, and so we got time dilation here. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is presumably the mechanism for why some world hoppers have lived as long as they can.
Yeah.
They just go and spend part of their time in Silverlight, and it warps them to the future.
Yeah.
It's currently, as of Isles of the Emberdark, it's 1 day in Silverlight equals 10 days in the rest of the Cosmere.
Yep.
Or the rest of the non-temporally dilated Cosmere.
Yeah. But you can't even say Silverlight standard time, because
It's not.
Silverlight time is not standard.
It's
Yeah.
demonstrably
It
non-standard.
does shift.
Maybe there's like
Silverlight
Yolish
non-standard time.
I mean, I'm sure they have Silverlight calendar based off what happened in Silverlight. So I'm sure they have that, but just doesn't map onto the rest of the Cosmere easily. And then there was a reference that like people grow stuff in Silverlight with the light of the Nexus and the right tones. I think that's what it was when they were talking in the cave, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like that makes sense. Like
yeah.
People on Roshar do that.
Yeah. So
Very-
yeah, that's good.
very reminiscent of kind of the lessons that R'laine was teaching the
Yeah.
farmers in
Yep.
Eurythero. It's not exactly the same as what we saw on Roshar, but there
basically the
are
same.
It's basically the same thing.
there is enough. Okay, you need investiture to provide like the investiture radiation, which provides the energy and nutrition for the plants, and then for some reason you also need a specific tone or tones to like shape that radiation into something that feeds the plants or whatever.
Yep.
It's cool to see it pop up outside of Roshar as well and see that it's a more widespread thing.
Absolutely. Like I love seeing like clouding, seeking being these more like generalized words. And just
Both of which are excellent terms that I
those
love
are
a lot.
those are good words. And so seeing these general Cosmere mechanics, I like that. That is good stuff.
And then the little dig from Starling that yes, of course, the Scadrians have their own term for clouding.
Well, we read the Mistborn books first, so that's fine. Start. That's before your time.
The Scadrians should have their own term for the cognitive realm.
Bringing it back. I think we kind of dealt with most of the stuff, but you guys have any final thoughts?
The cognitive realm was cool.
It's super cool.
Cognitive realm, very cool. I do hope that we get to see more of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's cool. Like it's visually like that's one of the things that and this is not going to be the first time I've talked about this on the show, and it's not going to be the last time I talk about this on the show. But one of the things that I love about Brendan's books is like how unique a lot of the worlds are. Obviously, you have the more standard, like Scadrio is meant to be an Earth analog in many ways, but outside of Scadrio, right? You go to places like Roshar, vastly different from anything on Earth. Komashi, wild. Lumar, wild. Cantico, wild.
Well, he's been
Even
making
First
them
of the
more
Sun.
wild since like, the early stage of his career.
Essentially, like once we hit Way of Kings, it's
like, okay.
it's you know, anything goes. So this is yet another way that we get to have like cool made up worlds where the floor is paint and the floor is glass beads. Maybe on Cantico the floor is really lava.
Yeah, it probably
The floor
would be.
is earthquakes.
Yes, sure. And I think that is really neat, and I would love to see those Nalthis customs.
Yep.
I just want to shout out the Shin name for the cognitive realm, which is Makari Sin, which is fun.
The Glasslingians.
That's very cool. I like that.
There is also a region in Shadesmar called the Glasswater Deep.
That is true.
The names for in Shadesmar are just so good.
That's why we had to take one of the
Caretaker of
names to be Emberdark.
Yeah.
For us, the Emberdark is like good names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smolderbrand.
Yeah.
Candlemore.
Evgeni, my final thought is with your theory about the beliefs in the Shadesmar sun, could you explain to me mechanistically why the shadows point towards the sun in that case and how that relates to your theory with the beliefs? Thanks.
Oh, that should be trivially obvious to the casual observer. It is because of the inevitable journey towards death that we are all in.
Of course.
He does have you there, Eric.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Okay.
We don't hear anything about the shadows in Isles of the Emberdark, do we?
Well, yeah, because it's not the sun's not there.
Well, no, but there is light in Shadesmar, so it's possible that there could have been a description of shadows.
No, but it's from
somewhere.
the sun in Shadesmar. That's the shadows.
Yeah, it's specifically the sun, and other light acts normal.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about? And there isn't much to talk about, but we should absolutely mention this. One, we said we were going to talk about the Grand Knell, and we didn't talk about the Grand Knell.
Okay.
But Baxil. Because Baxil...
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
He hears the current now, right? Something like that?
His clothing
Waters of
ripples to the current.
Sure, Baxel. What is going on with you, buddy? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so
Idiot.
Okay.
So Baxil is an interlude character from like the Way of Kings or Words of Radiance or whatever.
It's Way of Kings.
Way of Kings. He is one of the two people who was working for Shalash in an interlude. Well, it was the Baxil interlude, but like Shalash was there as their mistress, and they were breaking into like a rich man's home to like
Break a statue.
steal his art and break their art.
Yeah.
And we got another interlude in Wind and Truth, once again from Baxil, where he meets with Axes the Collector.
Sure.
Except when we meet Baxil, he's changed a little bit. We are
Did
told
the thing he said he was going to do, which was go to the Night Watcher.
go to the Night Watcher.
Mhm.
Every inch of him is covered, wrapped in tight crimson cloths. The tight offense of which sometimes escaped the cloth, the cloak, and waved in the wind of an unknown current. Capital C. Bunch of other stuff. He goes by Master Crimson.
Sure.
Of course.
Axis says he's been alive for millennia, which is an Axis bit of lore that we don't care about right now. Calls him Crimson Memory.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, he feels the current. That's interesting. What does that mean? I don't know.
Axis brings bandages to him because they are the key to his survival.
Sure, okay. Sure.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, Brandon wrote this interlude to, like, expand the world, and it's just crazy stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I mean, he wrote this interlude because he wanted to name drop the current again.
That's also true.
He also name dropped the current.
Emberdark, yes.
He also name dropped the current in the Elscholar story deck
Yes.
story, where there's a boat and its sail is either invested or covered in investiture, and it sails by the force of the current in very much the same way that Kakoban did back in the day.
And also in Wind and Truth, like, there is a compass that points towards the current.
Yep.
Oh, and the sibling mentions the Grand Knell, I think.
Yes.
It is how the sibling has described the compass to Dre, I think.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a device that points towards the Grand Knell, the source of the disturbance, the death of a god.
Cool. Other final thoughts. But that was good. That was important to talk about, for sure.
I mean, we forgot a full section. We had to talk about it.
My final thoughts are basically everything Evgeni said, but he said it better than I could, so.
Oh.
We love that.
So what you need to say is, like, he said it in a worse way, and they just leave it to the fans to imagine how good you would have said it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they already think I'm a traitor, so.
That's true. That's true.
He's not the traitor.
No, he's not
Brandon
the traitor.
said so.
The comments
Told us
did
with
not
his
believe
own
that.
mouth claps that Argent is not the traitor.
I have been informed that I doth protest too much.
Yes.
People say it because it's the funniest option. Just like
It is the
objectively,
funniest option.
objectively the funniest option.
Yes. Jess is in the clear. Evgeni, though, he's under the bus.
I love that no one for one moment assumed that Jess could have been the chick. Like everyone just
That's
locked
true.
eyes on me.
It's like, Evgeni, you are Icarus flying too close to the sun. You must be brought low.
You have too many wobs. Let's get you.
From
Get you down on our level.
from my point of view, I don't need to be brought low.
Are you going to the Shadesmar Zone? What's it like there? We should fly closer. Let me know. What's it like at the edge of a subastral with the sun?
It's full of Silverlight.
Oh, that's cursed. Okay. Shadesmar's cool. I like it. There we go. That's my final thought. That's great. We're gonna get on over to who's that Cosmere character before we get more of that cursed thought of Evgeni. We're out of here.
My only thoughts are cursed.
This character is from Rosharan.
Menace. Tien.
Tom.
Braze.
Void in drag on a horse.
It's time for who's that Cosmere character. Caw. Welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character, the game show where you send 5 clues in a character to wtcc at 17shard.com. I read each clue aloud, and after each clue, these guys have a chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. Let's start. This one is from It's Ya Girl Uluvara.
Oh, it's my girl. Is it Uluvara or Uruvara?
Well, in this, it's Uluvara. So,
Okay.
Cool. Nice. I was literally just about to read multiple clues, like one after the other. That's not how this works. That is not how this works at all. Clue 1. This character is of a royal family.
Ridger.
Kai-Ein.
It's not Ridger. It's not Kai-Ein. I still love our defaults of going through the early Cosmere works to start, but Ridger would be good, of course.
Books after 2010 don't exist, actually.
They don't exist.
There's fewer royal families after 2010.
That's true. There were a lot of royal families earlier. That is very true.
Is it the
Elend.
Bad Prince?
It's not Elend.
Shalon.
It's not Shalon. Clue 2. This character wears a braid.
I'm gonna go with Vivenna.
I want to guess Wheel of Time so bad. Okay.
It's not Vivenna. It's not Wheel of Time. No, that's not your guess.
I guess would have been Nynaeve Almira.
Sure.
Obviously, it's not Nynaeve Almira.
Sure.
Wow, spoilers for book 11 of the Wheel of Time.
Getting a braid.
Is it Tress?
It is not Tress.
Cord.
It's not Cord.
Is it the Reshi King? I feel terrible for forgetting his name. It's not. No, it's Ralna, right? Because Raluna is the Great Shell. Ralna is it him?
It's not Ralna. We like that. I'm gonna shift these around a little bit. Clue 3. This character has wielded a dead spren.
Hmm.
What does it mean to wield a dead spray?
Shalash.
It's not Shalash.
What? I was so confident.
Also just thinking Shalash.
Oh, really?
I was confident.
You two frequently hive mind on this game show. It's very amusing.
Nice little misdirect with the Jesrian.
True.
Probably wears a braid at some point. Has a
Sure.
shard blade.
Someone's already guessed Vivenna, right?
Yes, someone has
My
guessed
room-
Vivenna.
Yes.
Okay.
Kaladin?
It's not Kaladin.
I don't think he ever braids his hair.
Kind of lets it just go free,
I could
huh?
see it.
He would look great with a braid.
Mm-hmm. He and Chana can work on that.
You're thinking like a Padawan braid, or
I mean, like,
don't
just
know
like a
what that is.
regular braid. Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
I'm thinking a
You
Rumi
watch
braid.
Star Wars.
I was gonna guess Rumi in the previous clue.
Well,
She's kind of like they do call her royalty.
it's
K-pop
true.
royalty.
That's true.
Has anyone guessed
Like
Yasna yet?
fandom wiki or
No one has guessed Yasna.
I'm going to guess Yasna.
It is not Yasna.
Okay.
That's a Padawan braid.
Oh, okay.
Good. I
Not
appreciate.
quite what I was imagining.
Yeah. Attack of the Clones, baby.
They have a name for it. I don't know what that name is.
I know that as a rat's tail. That's what we called them in high school.
It's like it comes from the side, not from the direct back, so it's technically different.
Rock.
It is not Rock. Clue 4. This character wasn't Archer.
I know. I just don't remember his name.
You can give a description, and that's fine. Tell me.
Oh, you're thinking
The
of
old-
the old blood?
The Old Blood. I am thinking of the Old
what
Blood.
is his
The
name?
Dalinar's
It starts with a T.
the Dalinar's like a general who was a shard bearer, and I don't remember his hair, but sure, braids sounds right. It's not
Tyram.
Tishav.
It's
She's a
Tyram.
woman. Oh, that's not who I was thinking.
Ian
that's
is
not Tyram.
incorrect, but Eni is correct, and it is Taleb.
Okay.
But it did start with a T.
Okay.
Okay.
I was trying to. I guess the wrong to T name.
Yeah,
I just
you
kept
did.
thinking of like Tishav and Kal, and I'm like, those are not the right people.
Nope.
I know those aren't.
But they are people.
They
Taleb.
the original clues had this character as a soldier, wielded a dead spren, and ended with Archer. But I wanted to end with this character has a tattoo.
Yeah.
Real
that would've
fans
helped.
Makes
all
sense.
remember the Old Blood tattoo
Blood
and the
tattoo.
Old
yeah.
Blood lore, which we've
Mhm.
never gotten any information what that means. We never will. Rashar's blown up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Cold
Previous
royal
dynasty.
family.
Yeah. Boo.
That ties them back to the Sunmaker, right?
Does it?
Not necessarily.
This article was done prior to Wind and Truth, and I don't think we got anything with Wind and Truth on the Old
No, I
Bloods.
don't think we did.
Isn't he dead?
Taleb? No.
No? Okay.
We have no idea what's going on with him, but I don't think
Okay.
he died.
Now we're going to go to our Who's That Cosmere Character priority queue, which you can submit to by being a herald on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/17shard if you would like to support us. The lowest tier is just $1. So it's really easy. And you can join art polls and suggest art, and you get access to all our outtakes for just $1. Wow. And if you want to give us more money, you can. And one of the benefits is there's our Cosmere Character priority queue. Nice. And this one is from Greyhive. Longtime
Oh, hi.
patron. Longtime herald.
An Old Blood.
An Old Blood. Whoa.
You could say.
Clue 1. I am dead.
Oh,
I'm sorry to hear that, Greyhive.
Greyhive does those.
I'm glad that you're still a patron, though.
You know, he's a herald, so he just keeps coming back.
Keeps coming back.
I mean,
know.
if you're dead, you can't unsubscribe.
I have to take notes for this one because I feel like shenanigans might be happening.
No, they are. I know for a fact there are shenanigans here. Kelsier.
It's not Kelsier.
Tanavast.
It's not Tanavast, and it's not Maya.
Oh, okay. Iko's father.
No, it's not Aiko's fault. I like that too.
Iko's father.
Yeah, well, those
Whatever.
pronunciations are fine. I have no issue with that. Clue 2. I had at least one sibling.
When was this submitted?
Do you want to guess the Stormfather?
I do want to guess this.
This was sent in March 2025.
You can guess the
Okay,
Stormfather.
so after Wind and Truth.
Yes.
I'm guessing this one.
Paladin.
It is not the Stormfather. It is not Kaladin.
I suppose
Damn it.
Is Kaladin dead?
he's a cognitive shadow now.
Yeah, he got vaporized.
Light Song.
It's not Light Song. I like that too. He did die, for sure.
Grit. Dead and has a sibling.
Yeah.
Or it had a sibling.
Yeah.
Vin.
It's not Vin. Clue 3. I was part of the nobility.
Marsh.
It's not Marsh. Ooh. Is he dead?
Marsh not dead. He is dead.
He He's not dead, but he is death.
He's not dead, but he
Close
is
enough.
death. That's right.
He's dead inside.
Well,
He wasn't doing great.
Actually, that's not true. He seemed like he was living his best life in the Lost Metal.
I mean, it was hilarious when he went through and like, that entire
did
sequence
have
in the
fun.
police office. That was one of the best parts of that book.
that was
Marsh
you're
is
not
alright.
wrong. Yeah. Dead, at least one sibling, part of the nobility.
Yes. These do get more specific after this, so don't stress.
Shashara.
It is not Shashara. And
Dalinar.
it's not Dalinar. I will take every opportunity I can to say that Shashara's return name is Glory Singer, which is an
Glory
amazing return name.
Did I ever upload Peter's art of her? Have I shown you Peter's art of her?
I have not seen this.
Elhokar.
Well,
What was that, Jess?
Elhokar.
It is not Elhokar. Clue 4. I was widowed after a duel.
To be submitted, they generally have to be named characters,
This
right?
is a named character, yes, for sure.
Oh, but then do we get a name?
Some people submit some interesting priority ones as who's that Cosmere character being like a glyph, that sort of character,
Yeah.
which that has happened before, but
Duels in the Cosmere.
you would really think this like immediately narrows it down, but it does not.
You would think.
well, it probably does. It's just, can we remember?
Remember whether or not someone died.
It's like, I want to guess one of Rock's siblings.
Okay.
Why?
Same.
Like, none of them are
I
named.
don't know the names.
Several of them
feel
were
like-
named.
All right.
I feel like someone might have been named. Well, yeah, aren't they? Because Rock moved up in position.
Oh, because he moves up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
It's like
So, yeah.
Rock's siblings are dead, but are
Mhm.
his siblings' wives dead?
Hmm.
I just have zero memory of their names.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Kine because I don't have a better.
Nope. It's not kind.
He's not dead.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Better reread a
Also, he's not widowed.
sequels.
He's demonstrably not widowed.
Very happily married, actually.
Actually, very happily. After his time
You can
rampaging.
remarry. You can remarry.
That's true. Ooh.
It's just so difficult for me to think of any duels outside of the Adolin one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what counts as a duel?
I was widowed after a duel.
Yes.
I don't like this.
Okay.
I'm going to guess Eli.
It's not Eli.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You want to pass?
Yeah, I skip.
That's fine.
Yeah.
This is tough. This will be helpful though. Clue 5. Balat was not interested in marrying me.
Aelita.
Incorrect.
Aelita.
No, it's
Aelita is the one that he married.
Yes, it's the daughter of the High Prince who's super old.
It is the daughter of the High Prince that's super old, and her name is Sudi Valam. Hey.
And by super old, I do mean both the High Prince and the proposed daughter that Balat did not want to marry.
Yeah, she's like 50. So
Yeah.
So was in fact widowed in a duel. And so Lynn, being so generous, was like, hey, you could marry her. That would
Do we know that she's dead, though?
Okay. So according to the Coppermind,
Reputable source.
after the Vedan Civil War, this is a Big Smooth approved. Okay, guys. So after the
Big
Vedan
Smooth.
Civil War, when King Valam was on his deathbed, he mentioned that Redden was his only living child, indicating that Sudi died.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I that's a valid understanding.
We all remember Sudi Valam's death. Very good.
I have not seen that name in my life.
But we all remember
I definitely
Redden.
didn't remember that she was Redden's sibling.
I
so.
didn't remember this either. Yeah. I don't remember this either. But there you go. Thank you all for watching. You can find us on 17shard.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. Join our Discord server, discord.gg/17shard. It is always very busy. There's Emberdark stuff. There's Cosmere RPG stuff. There's a lot going on. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/17shard. And you can leave a super thanks if you have money burning in your pocket and you would like to give some of it to us and part of it to YouTube. But yeah, that too.
But some of it to us.
Some of it to a good portion to us. And yeah, we'll see you all next time for something else.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, I have seen that.
Hello, I have become Shashara.
I have seen that. Yes. No, I have
I
seen
don't know
that.
if I've seen that. That was
That's
nice.
really good.
Yes.
Nice.
I love
It
the
is really good.
Nightblood there. That's good.
Everything is great. Hi, anyway, I'm Argent.
Bye.
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 Bye.